What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 274. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Carlos Romero. Adam Vale. All right. God damn it, I have to do the intro again because I fucked up again. What is going on, people? Welcome to What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 274. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Carlos Romero, who's probably still working. Hey, people. We got Adam Vale in the house.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Brett Murdoch.
What's up, people?
There he is. Brian Manjoma.
I bet you £10 that he's gonna get screwed out of this race.
Oh, man. And the returning one, co-host of Throwdown, Mr. Emilio Lopez.
I am back. C2E2 motherfuckers. That's right. Elo is back in town. Gonna throw some shit around. Gonna talk about some games. No stranger danger.
Hip hop gamer tonight, bro. Fuck. Yeah. All right. Chris will join us in a little bit.
It's too much cursing for hip hop gamer.
Yeah. Hey, I like the fact that this was one of the few episodes where I wasn't the one that started cursing at the top of the episode. But Manny, we're glad to have you back, sir. And You'll probably tell us. Actually, you know what? Just because we're still waiting for Chris here, and we're still trying to warm up here. How was your C2E2 this year, sir?
It was actually very good. I mean, I got to meet a lot of folks. A bunch of folks came by. Stubby Stan dropped by the table.
Yeah.
Said, "What's up?" Telling me about how much he's moving and shaking and doing his thing. With the Dungeons and Dragons. With all the guys who from the from the podcast.
Oh, geez, I forget the name of it. River something.
Yeah.
I will give him a shout out later. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man, it's really cool stuff. It's it's fun. It seems like every single time I see him, it's always something there's something new and different happening from him. And this Dungeons and Dragons thing is doing really well for him. This year I wasn't sharing my table with Kyle Randolph, my partner in crime for years in comics. This time I decided to go do it on my own. And I did really well. Got to see a lot of really cool things. And being that this year was the Death Stranding year, so I just my table became the focal point for Death Stranding fans and stuff. So I got to see some really cool, like Sam Porter Bridges and all kinds of the other, Fragile and all those other characters from the game. A lot of really great cosplayers dropped by my table, and it was really good. I usually have a good time at C2E2, and this year I also shout out to my friend Eric Jimenez, who let me stay at his place with his family and all that good stuff. So really great show.
All right, just to I guess stem rumors. So you and Kari don't have beef, right?
No, we don't have beef. Yeah, that was a funny thing. Like, a lot of people saw that I was, me and Kari had different tables and stuff like that. And no, we're not. We're not separating or anything like that. We're all good. It's just that he's now represented by a company now, like a company that does that sets him up at different shows. So now he's gotten to the point where he doesn't need to bring his own stuff. He has a company that actually comes in and just sets up all his stuff, sells his prints, sets up, if he's going to do any sort of commissions. For me, I'm not actually represented by those guys. So I officially, decided, what, I'm going to do my own thing as opposed to trying to, sit right next, try to mooch in or sit in on the same, thing, unless they're, and they don't usually represent colorists or anything like that, or industry. So I usually do better with people on the floor in my fan base, which comes from gaming and stuff like that. That's what a lot of my prints are, and things that I sell at shows. I actually don't sell a lot of comic booky things because I feel like everybody in the room is doing comic book stuff. But what's the thing that what other things do comic conventions usually attract? They've kind of just become more like general nerdy thing show.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided, to go down the road of doing video game stuff. So I put out my Metal Gear stuff. I put out, I have a Nier Automata print or a, Kingdom Hearts thing. just because I feel like also that sort of thing, that sort of nerdiness should also be represented, and it also separates me from everybody else in the room.
Yeah, and it works out really well for you, so
Oh
that's
yeah,
good.
it does. I mean, this year I had my little Solid Zero art book, and then had the little tape version of it, which a lot of people seem to really like, and yeah, good stuff.
That's awesome, man. We got Chris Seeley in the house, man.
Hello.
What's going on, dude? How you doing?
What up?
Oh, doing all right. It's trash night, man.
Oh man.
Oh no.
One of these deals, man. Yeah, so this is the first time in a while that we've had a full house, people.
Yeah.
The full Throwdown crew is here and ready to kick some ass, man. All right, but before we go on, there's actually still a little bit of house cleaning. All right, let me get myself on camera here. There's something that you fans have been asking us for, in light of what's happened this week. I'm gonna say this now, and I'm never gonna repeat this again because I don't want to deal with this. This is part when I said at the top of the show, I said this has been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a week. Basically, we've been asked questions about a certain recurring guest of ours who has landed, for the lack of a better term, landed in some hot water. If you guys have frequented Twitter, you know who I'm talking about. If you've seen it throughout, you know who I'm talking about. We're just gonna say no.
Pauly Shore.
Yeah, just let's just do this alone. We're not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna have him on the show again, and we obviously do not condone any of that stuff he's accused of. So that's all I'm gonna say on that subject. If you ask us again, I'm just gonna say watch the top of episode 274 and be done with it because we're not dealing with it. Just moving on. And the last thing, actually, this is a little bit more personal. If you guys have watched me on Twitter, you'll know that just give them a eulogy now. Geek.com, the site I've been writing for 4.5 years, they're closing up shop after 26 years of operation. They're one of the first websites, period. Why do you think they have the name Geek.com? Just like there was the, you know what I'm saying? Usually you have Geeks this, Geek that, the other things. Like they had the URL, So closing up shop after all these years. So, and people were asking me, hey, Tony, what are you going to do? You're going to keep writing? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep writing.
So crack rocks.
Yeah, crack rocks, right? So, yeah, I'm over at, yeah.
Take it back to the streets.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm over at PC Mag. That's still going to continue. It's just the stuff I've been doing for, Geek, I'm probably going to be doing over there. So you're going to still see me doing my thing. It's just kind of sucks because, again, that was my home effectively for 4.5 years. They treated me well. The editors were awesome. The writers were awesome. I made a lot of good friends there. And obviously because of that, I got more prominent in the industry, more doors open for me and shit. That was a great experience writing for that site. There was not a single second I regret being there. Fucking amazing. So it's sad that, things are going like this, but that's just life, that's just how it is. But, your boy will be all right. I'm good. I'm still going to be doing my thing, making a living off this thing and all that good jazz, man. Just had to address a couple of these things and, I believe we can start. By the way, a little bit of a change tonight. Usually we do the feature topic first and then the news. We're going to flip it this time around. We're going to do the news first, then the feature topic, because the feature topic is actually something fun and enjoyable, and we want to end on a high note, So let's get into it, man. The first bit of news that we have for you guys is that HBO announced that they're going to have a Last of Us live action series, people. No movie. This is going to be live action. And
it's going to be a continuation of Chernobyl. Because it's the same people.
Yeah, so behind it. You're talking. What's up with this series?
Oh, I thought you guys seen that. I thought that's what we were going to talk about.
No. Okay. Well, you said you already know more than I do.
I didn't know. I thought that's what you were excited about.
All I know is, it's on HBO. The guy who made Chernobyl is a series creator. But beyond that, we don't know if it's going to follow the main storyline. If
it's following the first series, the first game.
Is that confirmed?
And that's what they confirmed.
Neil Druckmann at least released that information. Joel and Ellie are going to be in it. So
and Druckmann is working on it too. He's part of the project, so it's not like he's just handing it off, which is great news.
Yeah, no, that's significant because the actual guy who created the game is actually at least overseeing it. Granted, they could just say, fuck you, we're going to do whatever we want, but that is good to know that he's at least there. And I'm going to say this. I think Last of Us, does work better as a TV series just because of the fact that a movie version already exists. It's called The Road. The Road already exists.
The Road is there.
So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, you're right. I'm looking right here. Yeah, it's going to follow Joel and Ellie, and she's 14, just like in the first game. Same basic storyline.
The only thing is just like now, who are they going to get to this? Are they going to get somebody well known to play these?
Oh, who knows?
It would be best to get unknowns. That way, you just feel connected to the story. Yeah, just look like them, but just get unknowns. I feel like ever since Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's version of Spider-Man, when he brought in Tobey Maguire. What's his name?
Maguire.
Toby.
Was it Tobey Maguire? Was that his fucking name?
Yeah, that's his name.
Holy shit, that sounds fake. So yeah, yeah, Tobey Maguire. But you know what? When they brought, I'm like, I don't know this guy, but you know what? Now I see him, I think Spider-Man. So it works out. It works out for both the actor, if it's a good part, and for the show. Because then you're not looking at the character. Like, I know a lot of people are name dropping the chick from Game of Thrones.
Oh.
But the thing is, she's too old for it now. When she first started Game of Thrones, she would have fit. You know what I mean? Yeah, one of the I can't believe
also been throwing around what was it? Hugh Jackman as Joel.
Yeah, but that shit, he comes with a heavy price tag, so that's not happening.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. It's like get some unknowns that look exactly like the characters. That'd be amazing. You know, but I'm guessing it's gonna be like the first game will serve as the backbone, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll add some more stuff. I want to get your thoughts specifically, because you've always said that you don't like the game, but you think the story would be amazing in like a movie. And this is a TV show, so I want to get your thoughts on, them adapting it to TV.
Brian said the story was amazing?
Yeah, he liked the story. He said it was presented really well. Brian's always said that.
He said it was trash.
No, he said the game is trash, not the story. Let Brian talk for himself, man. Go ahead, Brian.
The story is not that great. It's just presented really well. I mean, the angles, the way they shot it, like the way they filmed it, the interactions, like it felt like a movie was being played out in front of me with the game engine. So
there you go. He thought the story was trash, but it was presented well.
Yeah, the story was just kind of like there. It's like, okay, whatever. But again, the presentation was like one of the best I've seen in a long time, and I think it's like the standard of what games should be. But whatever. So yeah.
Did you say the penetration?
Sorry.
What? I heard for the penetration. I'm like, what?
The presentation,
man.
Oh, okay.
You're getting
damn, I know you're getting excited. We're heading into Friday night, but slow the roll.
Excuse me.
This is a family show,
right?
Exactly.
Motherfucker.
Fucked up family show.
36 and over, baby. 36 and over.
Anyway, Brian, what's your thoughts on it becoming a TV show?
I'm guessing that they're hopping on the heels of the fact that The Witcher did so well. They'll say, okay, cool. You know what? Let's just get something out. Like Witcher, did well. Let's jump on the hype. Like on the TV, games thing. Let's jump on that quick. So I don't know. It just seems like it just seems really weird that it just happens now after The Witcher's done so well. It just seems a bit too close for comfort. So it may just be they're trying to get something out, or maybe they're just trying to drum up more hype for Last of Us 2. It's like, hey, you guys have getting ready for Last of Us 2, get ready for the first one in TV form,
I got something.
By the way, I'm
gonna
say this I got something real quick. Remember, the movie, has quote unquote been in development since 2014. I think they just fast tracked it, fucking make it a show,
But I think what's going on here is that thirst for content. You got all these streaming services. They're hungry. They're thirsty for content. They're looking. They're scrounging. They're trying to get whatever they can because it's a lot of competition out there now.
Yeah, and
so
also
I think that's what this turns into.
HBO doesn't have a Game of Thrones anymore, so this could, they may be like, hey, this could be our replacement.
Mm-hmm. So they're all looking for it.
Dead now.
Yeah, it could be. Because think about it, with a good story.
Because think about it, it doesn't take too much for someone to say, all right, wow, Chernobyl was a big hit. That's based off of a true situation that took place. And it's like, this was crazy. The time set and all that. Everybody was really into it. Is there anything else like this that we can continue? And who knows? Maybe there's somebody who's part of that team say, hey, there was a game I played called The Last of Us. We can use the same sets. Let's do that. Well, let's talk to them. Let's see what we can do. And remember, it was a comic, The Last of Us. They made a comic series. So
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's crazy. So yeah, that's what's going on.
Storyboard's already there for them. It's like, hey, yeah, there you go.
The question is, will you guys watch this show?
Of course. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's a family show. We're gonna watch it.
Wait, is it on HBO Max? Don't you have to get that now?
It didn't say which HBO. It just said HBO.
Yeah, it just said HBO.
Well,
yeah.
There's only one HBO, and you can probably get it on HBO Go, or if you have your cable subscription with HBO or HBO Max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
if you go on the Reddit page, HBO Friends, then people always give out access. So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. It's freaking HBO. You know,
Yeah.
they
They're
have
gonna
a good
go all
track
out.
record.
Yeah, they're gonna go all out on this one.
What was the old little slogan? It's like it's not just TV, it's HBO.
It's HBO, exactly. Home box office. Yeah, that was their slogan.
Yeah.
Like, imagine. Well, you remember they do it even now, where it shows the static and then HBO. So it's supposed to be that you're flicking through the channels when there was just nothing there, and it's like, oh wait, static. Oh wait, no, it's HBO. I'm getting the butter programming now. Oh, my bunny ears are working.
By the way, I also disagree with Brian about the whole the Witcher thing. Because someone brought up a tweet from like October of last year. I don't know when The Witcher came out, but it's like, was it? I think either Neil Druckmann or that other guy. Like someone tweeted to them. It's like, hey, you should do a Last of Us show. And it's like, and then it's like someone quote tweeted it. I think like Druckmann did, and he's like, oh, we should.
Interesting.
So,
Warlock also did that about God of War.
Yeah, Witcher
recently.
was correct me if I'm wrong here. I think it was December that dropped. It was late last year. I know that.
But I swear that announced like way before that.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with Brian though. I think maybe they did fast track. It's like, oh shit, this video game thing did well. Maybe we do this one.
Yeah.
And the budget will be and the budget will be
disagree with
lesser too. You know.
Also, what got Witcher sold was also Henry Cavill, because he was like a crazy, insane fan for the games.
Yeah, that helped a lot for sure.
Well, I heard HBO's not just going to develop Last of Us. They're doing a PlayStation basically series, multiple series of PlayStation IPs.
Interesting.
Remember we also talked about this not long ago. Remember PlayStation Pictures?
That's right. Yeah. PlayStation Pictures.
We sort of talked about this before. So Pictures doesn't exactly only mean that they're probably going to be developing, just movies.
Yeah.
It could also mean shows.
Could be.
Right,
Yeah, I know you're right about that.
And if they give them exclusive to HBO, they foot some of the bill
Yeah.
for the production.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll get Uncharted and shit. You know.
Oh, God of War.
God of War.
God of War.
Excuse me.
They could do a crossover. Joel's like, who's that? I'm the Kratos.
Oh my God! A PlayStation cinematic universe. Could you imagine?
They'll call it PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah, exactly. PlayStation All Stars.
Oh shit! Bring it back.
You know, man, the butter game, right? The butter game.
Butter game.
Well, you know that on The Last of Us and that show, they're gonna have in any of these sets, apartments, there's got to be a PlayStation somewhere. They have to show it. You know, they're scrounging around for food or something, and then there's a PlayStation next to the TV or something. I can see that.
Everyone knows how the first episode's gonna end.
Yeah, that's
not
that's
everyone.
right. Ooh.
That's the one that's gonna get people
That's
into
gonna-
the
yeah,
show
it's
that
gonna- yeah.
haven't played the game.
That's gonna hook them right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's gonna be the hook. But
My only fear, not so much of a fear, because I really don't give a shit. But
Concern.
my concern is that people may see it as like, if they don't know that about the game, like, it's a little bit too late to try to do a Walking Dead knockoff. You know, that's what I think. If they don't know about the source material, they may think that that's what this is. Oh, HBO's just trying to jump in on that. It's kind of late, though. You know, Walking Dead's been going for 10 years. So.
And it sucks.
bro, I still can't believe that fucking show's still on.
Yo, they still. I saw over 8 to 9 million people watching. Yeah, it fell off from 13 to 15, but it's still
Jesus,
millions
man.
of people fucking watching.
No, I know that. I saw like an ad for it the other day. I'm like, this shit is still on.
Yo, it's like the noodles. A lot of people leave and they just replace them. There's a bunch of new people.
Well, no, here's the thing, man. If the moment that Norman Reedus, something happens to Norman
That show's
Reedus,
over.
everybody's gonna leave that fucking show.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody's gonna stick around
He's
for
the
old
only
lady.
safe
No.
one. He's the only
They'll,
safe
no,
one.
no, no. They'll find them. They'll do a replacement. I'm telling you, they've already planned that shit. They're
Reedus,
doing
Norman.
and not only that, and Rick can still come back, because that's the thing. That's the way they did it. Rick is not dead. He disappeared. He's disappeared.
Yo, by the way, I love how Adam was like, yo, no spoilers for The Last of Us. The game's like 6 years old, yet he's spoiling The Walking Dead right
That's
now.
not a spoiler. That was like 2 seasons ago.
But you're talking about a game that's 6 years old, and you want to be a spoiler alert for that.
It's no spoiler alert. This shit's still going. Yeah, I could really spoil the whole thing because I read the last issue of the comic series.
Yeah, well, don't do that, please.
You want that shit?
I'll tell you what will kill Walking Dead. Wait till HBO announces the Death Stranding TV series.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got Norman Reedus in that
Norman
bitch.
Reedus leaves. And you know, it's funny. Death Stranding, the TV show, could actually work because they're all the people that are in it are literally all TV TV actors.
They are, yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like,
Even Guillermo del Toro.
yeah, I mean, you can get him to show up for a little bit, man.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. All the people there are TV actors. You know,
they're all TV actors. Like Mads Mikkelsen. I mean, he's known, but I mean,
he did Hannibal.
He did
right?
Hannibal, right?
Yeah, but then remember, Norman Reedus has his ride show. That's how AMC is making him happy. They say, "Hey, you want your own show? Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to do? I like to ride my bike. There you go. You got a bike show.
You got a bike show. You could get some movie stars on it. Like
there you go. There you go. He gets a bunch.
That shit is crazy. All right. Any last thoughts on the Last of Us TV show on HBO?
Is anybody like not excited about it?
I don't care. Don't care.
Yeah, it's what it is.
I didn't care about it.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. I'm glad it's happening. Yeah, I'm glad it's coming. But
Manny, you could not care less.
We already had the superior way to experience that story. We played the game.
Yeah, we played the game. Yeah,
except the last part of the fucking game. That shit pissed me off. That was not necessary. But besides that, it was all good.
So it's just me and Adam that are excited, and maybe Brian.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yo, Brett, who are they gonna get to play who are they gonna get to play your girl, man? You know what I'm talking about.
Carlos, what do you mean excited? I mean, are you super excited for this?
Well, I'm intrigued. I'm excited. Well, no, I am excited because it's HBO doing, The Last of Us. It's, even though the
greatest game of all time, according to Lorraine, right?
It's the greatest game of the generation. Is the manga guy?
It's according to the manga god.
Okay, can I ask why?
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, are you asking Lorraine? Because nobody in here thinks.
No, he wants to know why Carlos is excited.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm like, I liked The Last of Us. I'm just curious. Does anybody know why it hit so hard? Like, it's a good game, as Brian says. It presents its story well, but the story isn't like complicated or deep or really great in any way.
The book, The Road, was amazing. The movie was amazing. The thing is, a lot of people didn't read or see the movie, and then when they played The Last of Us, they were like, "Mind blown! What is this shit?" And I think that's what got them. Because if you read the book or if you watch the movie, it's fucking dark, depressing. It's gritty. It pulls you in, and it was captivating. I loved it.
So it's. I mean, I get that. So is it just that it's a character story? The same way Breaking Bad is a character story. Nobody really has an enthusiasm about making Bad. I mean, some people do, but we're not talking about those people. Like, Breaking Bad was a thing that, it was a character story. So essentially, Game of Thrones was a character story too. I think The Last of Us is a character story about Joe and Ellie more than the world itself.
Yeah.
Which is definitely evident by the ending. And that's kind of my problem. Is it's going to be just a story about nothing. And as I said it out loud, I'm like, man, that's the Mandalorian.
But that's the way for a lot of them. Even remember the Telltales, the first season of The Walking Dead. It was Clementine, and then and the dude she was walking with, and what happened to him at the end. I'm not going to spoil that, but it's that story. Yeah, the zombies were there, but whatever. It was the story.
I guess it could be good. Now that I'm talking about it, there's a lot of stories that are based on that are pretty decent. It's just it matters how it's done. And it's Brian. Brian will back. I'm backing Brian up on this. I don't think the story itself is great. It's just presented really well.
I think the one thing about it is that just like a show like The Mandalorian, once you get it into a place where you can consistently keep throwing stories at it that sort of fit into it, that's actually kind of a perfect show.
That's why I'm not excited though. It's so easy to fit into the formula. We can just kind of write in extra stories for Joe and Ellie along to kind of stretch it out into a few seasons. Yeah. I'm afraid that it's gonna fall. It just feels like it's gonna fall prey to Hollywoodism, and we've already played the game. It told the story really well. It's kind of like the same reason I'm not excited. Can you guys hear me?
We hear you perfectly, bro.
Okay, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same reason. Okay.
Oh shit!
Okay, let me tell you this.
Yeah. Welcome to Crossfire.
It's the same reason I'm not excited, nor do I care to see the live-action Lion King film, because I saw the animated one, the animated one was the best vehicle for that story. It told it, and it told it well in the best form it could be presented, and in optimal fashion of that form. Like it not only is the Lion King, and like Aladdin. Let's take Aladdin. Not only is Aladdin best presented as an animated, cartoonish kind of thing because of all the fantastical stuff and the lightheartedness of it all, but when it was done exceptionally well for a cartoon. So when you combine those things, you kind of have an optimal way to ingest media, in my opinion. And that's where The Last of Us hit. It hit so hard as a well-made game, and its story is way more engaging if you're playing it than if you're watching it. So it's already been presented in its optimal form.
Can I rebut all your points?
Yeah.
All of them.
All right.
Welcome to Crossfire.
So the most
Throwdown,
recent
baby.
one, so the most recent one, you said that the video game did a good job of presenting the story, but but you said the story wasn't good enough. Well, that's what the show is gonna try to do. Second point, you said you compared the Lion King and how that wasn't needed. Well, yeah, that wasn't needed because that's a shot for shot a remake of an actual movie. The Lion King live action movie is a shot for shot remake of the actual movie.
Let's just cut right to the bone on this one. Is there any chance that the show is going to be better than the game?
Yes. Brian hates the game, so it can only go up from here. So
for Brian though.
Yeah,
it's a story. The story, I like the story in the game, and I could see them, especially since I read the comic. And if they follow the comic format, which again is not the game, it'll work. And I think that's probably what helps, because when you put together a screenwrite, you have to do storyboards, and just to get an idea how you're going to frame it.
You could also just use the game.
You could use the game.
So point number one, going back to the Brett. He said that he doesn't want the Hollywoodification.
Yeah,
or something
Hollywoodification. Yeah.
Well, I understand that, but if it was from that's what I worry about the Uncharted movie, but not about this one, because this is a show, and it's on HBO. If just look at the track record for HBO shows, they don't have that many duds. And Neil Druckmann's working on this too.
Yeah, if you said it's the Sci-Fi Channel, then yeah, this just.
Well, that's the opposite.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I think I'm kind of agreeing with where Adam's coming from. Like, if they have a lot of additional content and story pre-written that goes along with it, and they're not just going to be putting in filler, yeah, I could see that. If the game that we played is one season and there is other story involved, sure, that could be interesting. It could involve a lot of gamers who have played the game and be like, oh man, there's more story here. I'd be one of them. But if they just stretch the fucking story of the game into 3 seasons, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, the story of the first game, right? You're saying
it's a 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Nobody would want that shit.
Yeah, just a filler show. Yeah, that would be kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
This week on
The Last of Us.
Yeah, it's just so easy to say Ellie gets sidetracked by trying to help somebody on this week's episode.
Oh yeah,
we should
and then have that storyline just go on and on and on.
We ain't gonna help anybody, Ellie. I gotta take you to this place for these guys to pay me.
That's what I'm saying. It could be amazing.
I'm gonna rape you.
It could also,
yo, Joel.
Yeah, remember that? You remember when that happened?
Yeah, I think that's the bonus directors you're talking about. Son.
No, that was toward the end. Remember when one of the boss fights when the guy tries to rape the girl?
Yeah, but he was trying. That
wasn't Joel,
bro.
Yeah.
No, I just was doing another old
crazy,
man.
bro.
I'm gonna take these people out.
Yeah, that's Joel right there.
Said Watchmen was a dud. Definitely not.
But okay, so like as you were saying later, like The Walking Dead has a very large audience. There's money there.
Yeah.
Do you not think that they're just trying to make or take that audience? Do you not think it's going to become Walking Dead-ish?
They're definitely going into that direction. You know, they just have to take a different approach. And I think with the creatures and the different forms, as opposed to just a regular zombie, that might help.
If you put Arya in it, I'll watch.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, here's a
Go
question
ahead,
for you guys.
yeah, go ahead.
Just before we go, what do you think is going to happen to all these YouTube videos that have like all the cutscenes in like one long, like 8 hour long YouTube video?
You think you're gonna pull them down and shit? I don't know about that.
Right,
Because they're gonna have to pull down streams too. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that.
Nah, they don't give a shit. It's old.
No, it's not that. It's just too fucking much. You know, it's too much. And that would be the equivalent of them, like, you know, taking away the Game of Thrones books from shelves just because the show's coming out. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they're not going to do that. That's silly. All right, man, let's move on. Where the fuck are we? Oh, yeah, so Ghost of Tsushima is going to be coming out on June 26th, which is almost a month after The Last of Us 2 drops, which is pretty interesting. You know, so they also dropped a new trailer. Like everybody was saying, I didn't watch the fucking trailer, but everybody was saying it's dope and stuff. And they also announced, and this, you know, we're really here to talk about the collector's edition, people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So here, you know, I'm just gonna lay down what it says. So we got a steel book, you know, obviously.
As usual.
We got a cloth map of the island of Tsushima, which is pretty cool. Sashimoto War Banner. That's, I think the name of the character is Sashimoto.
Yeah, the Sashimoto War Banner is literally that circular thing that you see.
Yeah, with like the arrows pointed up.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, you know, if you see the Ghosts of Tsushima, like that's literally the O. You know.
Yeah.
We have the furoshiki wrapping cloth. That's the thing you put around your head. Pretty dope. It comes with a mask. It's called the Saikai mask. Apparently, you can't wear the mask, unfortunately.
Bullshit.
Oh, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can't wear the mask.
Can't wear the
apparently.
mask? Fuck.
What? You want to take that shit off and put it on, man?
That's like getting a Halo helmet.
The Halo helmet. You ain't gonna wear that shit either.
It's got cotton in it.
Yeah, we got a 48-page mini art book.
Shove that shit up there, candy.
Hey,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
but it's from Dark Horse though.
I mean, granted, like sometimes the art books are good, but man, most of the time,
It stink, bro. By the way, I can't. If somebody in the chat can confirm this, is this also a PlayStation 4 bundle? It looks like a PlayStation 4 bundle. Like,
I don't know.
No, because I see a huge box. Or maybe. Oh no, you know what it is? It's just it just comes the mask. That's right. Okay, so that's just comes from mask.
The mask is a life-size mask, but
Gotcha.
I guess it's attached to the
stand.
Which is dumb.
Yeah,
that's like that dumb batarang.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, man.
It's like that dumb batarang where it was literally attached to the stand.
Memories.
Yeah. We also got some downloadable content. So we got a director's commentary, which is ironic because the video game's getting one and movies don't even get them.
Oh, I love those. Have you played the game that had director commentary?
Never.
Oh,
wait, what am I talking about? Portal 2 had him.
Yeah.
And back in the day, Sly Cooper had it too. Remember?
Oh, nice.
That's so cool.
That, Chris?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you also get a samurai PS4 dynamic theme, a Hero of Tsushima skin set, which is, you know, this is all in-game shit, and a fucking horse. So there you go, man. Who is excited for this game?
I mean, I want to play it. I like samurai, but you know, I'm gonna play that game in though. I'm gonna play that shit in
PS5.
Japanese.
I'll play that shit in Japanese. Yo, the as much as you know, I'm gonna say this. This is a slight.
Yo, man, say
it, man. Keep it real, man. Just throw it down.
Okay. It just seem weird to play a game that's Japanese, right? That's has samurai and Japanese people in it, but they don't speak Japanese or they don't have an accent. It just like they just have like these kind of mundane sounding people.
I'm gonna cut you in the throat.
Yeah, it's like hey, it's like just us going, hey, I'm gonna get you. Like,
so you think they should have had accents?
They should have added accents. Like it's like to me, I liken it to like Black Panther. Like if you took a film like Black Panther and it had every single person in Black Panther talk with a normal American accent.
Yeah, like hello, I'm T'Challa, the Black Panther. You know,
I am T'Challa, the Black.
But you know, sometimes people get offended when they hear him do the accent. They're trying to make fun of me.
Well, no, just all you do is just get a bunch of Japanese actors doing accents.
That is true.
You know, if you're gonna get into that realm, right?
Yeah, but I think that's.
I might actually just play this game in Japanese.
Yeah, in Japanese. Go ahead, Carl.
I'm with Manny on this.
Yeah.
And plus, the Japanese voice acting like sounds really awesome. Like shit,
yeah, you know,
it is awesome, but they do pay a lot of attention when they do like dubs. And the reason that they don't have accents a lot of times is, and they're very aware of this, they want you to view this character as having a normalized accent. Like characters that are supposed to have like, you know, like hick accents, they give more southern accents to. That's why in anime you have like sometimes you'll have like a southern girl because their character is really.
Well, I mean, it's rare. I mean, I've only seen it in a few shows, like a Benabashi.
Yeah, Benabashi does that. Yeah,
they all had hick accents because they were supposedly doing it like regional, like their versions.
Yeah, that was a fun show because like basically like there's a very specific region of Japan that show took place in. So everybody had Texan accents from a very specific part of Texas, right? But the fun part was the Tokyo natives, they all had New York accents because like, hey, New York's the biggest city in America, so the biggest city in Tokyo, they're gonna have New York accents. That's kind of fun.
You know, they did it in Final Fantasy 15 too.
Oh, did they?
The mechanic girl?
Oh, that's right. She has an accent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's always fun. I mean, I'm going to say this, though. I think with Ghost of Tsushima, like, it's a little bit different than anime because, like, you know, since it's so realistic looking, you know what I'm saying? You kind of expect them to have Japanese voices.
Yeah, it's weird to me. It's just, I
get it.
You know what I'm saying, Brett?
Yeah. It seems weird to me. Like, I can kind of accept it in an anime.
Yeah, in anime, it's a cartoon, you know. But like, for example, like, you know, me, I'm a dub. Yeah, like I'm a dub guy. Like, you know, I like, you know, watching the animation. But when it comes to like a foreign film, like I'll read the shit because I'm like, it just looks weird. Like, I know we dealt with it when we were kids watching Godzilla movies, but even now, if I'm gonna watch a Godzilla movie, I'm watching it in Japanese, you know.
God damn it, Manny! It didn't bother me, and now that you mention it, it's gonna fucking bother me.
I know it was just a weird thing. It was just a thing that I was like thinking, I'm like, and because granted, I might have also switched my. So well, then again, because I like samurai films, like I really like those sorts of films, and all the ones I've ever seen were always in Japanase, and I just feel like
not The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, right.
That's an American samurai film. But even all those guys, all the Japanese people in that movie, what did they do? When they spoke English, they all had Japanese accents, and when they spoke to each other, they spoke Japanese some of the time.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like, I probably would have played it in English if it had Japanese accents, but since not, I'm just gonna play like Yakuza, all Japanese audio, and that's it. You know.
The only thing that I do notice though, because in the Japanese version, they're obviously dubbing over the English because their mouths are moving in English. Yeah. So it's a weird like thing because they're Japanese speaking Japanese, but their mouths are moving to an English soundtrack.
Interesting. So they're not bothering to reanimate their lips.
No, they're not.
That's kind of cheap. You know, because I remember even Final Fantasy 13, everybody hates that game, but their lips are actually moving in English, you know. But if you see the Japanese version, they're moving in Japanese, you know.
Yeah, no, they didn't actually bother to do that. They also do that in the Kingdom Hearts games. They also do it too, where
they do it. Yeah, I think that's a Square
moving.
Enix thing. I think they do that a lot. You know?
They always do that.
Which is,
but I don't know anything about I think the new Final Fantasy, that one is actually they're it's in English and
it's in English, right? Yeah. Because it's because of Square Enix. By the way, we'll talk about that later. The Final Fantasies demo. That was a big thing that happened this week. Remember when they used to have demos? Anyway, I think anything else on Ghost of Tsushima?
They don't have a fucking samurai sword. Yeah. Come on, man.
That's everybody's complaint about it.
Give me a samurai sword.
That'd be a bad idea.
I know. It would be a bad idea, but it would be so fucking awesome.
Yeah, but you know, Brett, you already got a sword though, so you're good, right?
I got a bunch of them. They unless they sent you like a letter opener size one, like a tiny sword.
I was about to say that.
Do with this.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
It would be like my plasma cutter. You can't even fucking hold the shit in your hand unless you was like 4 years old.
Imagine hearing the stupid things later on, like somebody, man was killed by a samurai sword given away with video game. That would totally go over well, wouldn't it?
Oh man!
Man goes in, comes out with the store with a samurai knife, and just starts slicing people up in the street.
But it's funny. Like in Japan, they do crazy shit like that though. Like in Japan, like. For one version of Resident Evil, they actually gave away the friggin' like a replica airsoft gun of Wesker's gun, the Stars gun.
Yeah,
they that was a special thing that they sold with the game. Like you could never do that here.
Yeah, no, you can't do that shit.
A realistic looking gun being sold with a game.
That's crazy.
Yo, can we get a tally of everyone in the room to see who's gonna buy it, for people to know?
That's a pass for me.
I'll buy it. I'm buying it.
I don't count because I'm probably gonna get the game. You know, they're gonna send it to me, so I don't count.
Well, we don't know, man, because you're gonna be working for PC Mag. What's gonna happen, son?
Listen, I could make things move, man. You know.
You can make things move.
I can make things move, man.
Start here now
with my mind.
Yeah. So taking me out of the equation, who's gonna buy this thing?
All right, who's gonna get it?
Who's gonna get it? Yeah.
Buy is just
Elo's down.
I'll get it.
Brett?
Brian?
I need to see more gameplay. I've just not seen enough gameplay. Mostly like, hey, look at this cinematic. It's like, yes, it's all good, but where's the gameplay? You know,
show me the money.
Yeah.
You know,
like, give it to me.
Where's something? Show me something, not just movies, man. Like, if I want a movie, I'll just search it on YouTube. You know.
Yo, you're gonna piss off Glorious War tonight, man. He's back, by the way. Glorious War, where you been, brother? I thought kangaroos kidnapped his ass. You know.
Yeah, at least he survived the fire, man.
Oh, Glorious! Have you received your Death Stranding poster?
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Also, Glorious, thank you for the bits, and I agree with you. It would be awesome to see a Brandon Sanderson anything on film. That would be amazing. You know. Oh, yeah. What the fuck? Oh, he said he was busy with business. Oh, Brett, are you gonna get Ghost of Tsushima?
Fuck yeah!
Nice. Okay, so nice. Carlos, what's the count on that?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of the 7 is a yes.
Okay, so Brian's the only one then. All right.
Brian's a maybe.
But that's unless I have to review it, I'm not.
Oh no. That's two. No, Adam is the one that's not going to get it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Brian said,
Brian's a maybe. Brian's a maybe.
There's not enough guns for Adam.
Well, that's it. Maybe that's a code, a cheat code or something. Fucking unlock some Uzis or something.
I don't think that would be an anachronism, bro.
It's all right. It's a game, man.
You can't have no swords.
Shit, Snake Eyes had a fucking sword.
And then he had 2 fucking Uzis.
I can't wait for that Snake Eyes movie. What do you think of that?
God, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, what's going on,
He
Pat?
better not talk, though. He better not talk.
Yeah. Yo, hold on. Let me give some shout-outs, man. We got Goose 7 in the house, Violence and Empathy, Glorious War, Illustrated, Dio, what's going on, brother?
Oh, shit, Dio.
Dio, man, he's back. Mighty Nerd, as always, holding it down. You know, you guys are awesome. Throwdown crew checking the stream while playing online matches with Grand Blue Fantasy versus amazing visual for a fighting game and some solid gameplay mechanics. No air dashes though. Yeah, Dio loves himself some fighting games, man. So
Grand Blue Fantasy. That's the one that's the Arc System Works game, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's the one you were talking about before. Yeah.
I've been looking at that game, man, because that thing's really nice looking.
Manny, Glorious War sent some bits and goes, "Yes, I'm very thankful, Manny and everybody on the Throwdown cast."
Awesome,
dude.
Yeah, so I put a little extra in there for you. You got one of the very rare Solid Zero like digital editions that look exactly like the Man Who Sold the World tape from the end of Metal Gear 5. So,
the man who sold the world.
How come Marilyn Manson has never done that song?
Fuck, he's got a shitload of covers, man.
The man who sold the world.
Did you hear his cover from the Lost Boys? That Lost Boys theme song? I
have not heard
Cry, little sister.
I know
that song. Cover of that. Yeah, he did a good cover of that. Find it on Spotify.
That's crazy.
All right. Cry, little sister. That's what it's called.
Little sister, man. All right, where the fuck are we? Okay, so next story here is Google hires Sony's Shannon Studstill to run Stadia games and entertainment studio in Los Angeles, man. Mm-hmm. This was another big one. So, I think you know a little bit more about this woman than I do. So, what's going on here?
Shannon has been the head of Santa Monica Studios since like God of War 1. Like she has been there since like the beginning, like with Cory Ball, not Cory Ball, like David Jaffe and all those guys over there. So it's pretty crazy that they got her because she had been running that studio for years.
Money.
I definitely think it was a money thing, because like I mean to be honest, she was set at that Sony studio, you know, at Santa Monica. So I mean, it's funny. It seems like Stadia seems to be rating quite a bit of Sony's people. I mean, granted, Phil was it Phil Harrison? Not Phil, is that Phil?
Yeah,
Phil Harrison, you know, former Sony guy. He's just probably just calling up all his old buddies and like, "Yo, remember that?"
I wish I had the Ted DiBiase laugh, you know, queued up. Everybody's got a price.
Well, if that's the case, that's actually really interesting because that would mean they're really focusing on what they believe to be key talent and throwing money at it.
They just opened a new game studio too.
I think the thing about it is that she's, as much as she is, her talents lie in the actual running of a business, and she's been doing this for years. I don't think they're actually tapping her for her ability, her game creation ability.
She can crack a whip.
Yeah, she's probably very good at like keeping that together.
But yeah, not even video games.
Obviously, you need those. So as much as you need, need the David Jaffes and the Cory Barlogs and Kojimas in the industry. You also need the person in there to say, "Get this shit fucking done."
I'm on lunch. Get your feet off that table.
I agree, and that kind of even reinforces my point more. Like they're going at this in a very interesting, what I think is kind of smart way. Noting key talent and then scalping the fuck out of them with lots of money. If they have money to throw at the situation, all they need to do is identify key players, and it sounds like they're doing a pretty good job.
I mean, I'm surprised they, as far as game creators, I'm surprised they didn't get what's her face, Amy Hennig. I know Amy Hennig's got a new company doing like virtual games and VR games, but yeah. I mean, who else? It's like one thing you have to say about Google's biggest exclusive is money.
That's it.
As much as they say that about Microsoft, man, freaking Google, man, they're just like
because they're tired of being laughed at. Right now, they're the laughing stock with the Stadia shit. So they're like, shit, how do we fix this? Well, open up the pockets. Come on, we got to start picking up people and fixing this shit.
Let's take a couple of those Sony guys that you knew, right?
Not only that, this helps their stock. When you start hearing that they're making these type of moves, you're like, all right, well, they're doing something.
And the person who took over for her was actually a producer on the recent God of War. She's actually going to be taking over her position at Santa Monica Studios. Unfortunately I can't remember her name, but she was, if you saw the Raising Kratos documentary, she was the one that literally was on Cory Barlog's ass saying all the shit that he needed to do. So
yeah, it's kind of interesting. They're just poaching all the talent and stuff. It seems, and then the other thing is like Sony kind of has the max, the exodus going on a little bit. Everybody's leaving, so who knows?
And we still don't know why. There's
a lot of chess pieces moving around in Sony and and PlayStation. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen, and we'll see if this new gang of people can actually pull this thing off, because there's a lot of changes around. And I mean, why wouldn't you want to keep the team that made the second most successful Sony console?
Yeah.
Everybody's leaving. They've gone quiet. They're not going to shows.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Look at Sony.
Oh man, yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a bit.
Shit, man, this could be it for everything now, for all these consoles this year.
Yeah. You want to just skip right to it? Because that's the next topic, man.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so the ESA earlier this week talked about how E3 is still on, right? And they're not canceling E3. And then 2 days later, like, oh, we're actually reassessing shit.
Oh.
Well, that was because California declared a state of emergency with all this shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, what do you guys think about this? Like, yeah, because California, they did announce that, and now... Obviously, here's the thing. E3 is already on its like kind of last legs as it is. So I think if this shit gets canceled, I don't think there's any recovering E3 after this.
No, man. I mean, look, if this is the opportunity for companies to set up virtual, briefings, like Microsoft has a virtual briefing, and we do it like we normally do, and we stream it, we watch it with everyone else. People do direct type things. Sony has a state of play, and then other publishers start doing that. Then they're going to realize, hey, we saved like $10 million. We didn't need to spend in LA, and we got. And then what's going to reinforce that is if their sales don't really change and the coverage don't really change, then why do they need to go back?
Yeah.
Right. So those are the big factors, and that's going to affect other shows. They're going to be like, why do we do this at all?
Well, it's also the worst year. I mean, let's be honest. We all really only get excited for E3 once a generation. We're like, oh shit, they're talking about the new consoles. And this is supposed to be their big hype year. This is the year that everybody should be waiting for E3 for big, bombshell announcements. But that's not how this generation is playing out. The future is here, or whatever. But yeah, for whatever reason, that's not how this generation is playing out. And if they cancel E3 on the year that they're supposed to be dropping all this megaton of news, so they just drop it through the internet instead, I don't think, like, everybody knows the year after a console drops is boring as shit. Yeah. Like, they're not going to come back with, a strong lineup or a strong show for the next year. It puts them in a really bad spot. If this were any other year, this would be much less precarious. But now it is very much so.
Yeah, this is a vital year, but and all this stems from the coronavirus, scare basically, And I'm like, hold on, because here's a question I want to ask you guys: is this too premature? E3 isn't until June. This thing might blow over by then,
Remember, it takes time to plan these events. All the pieces, moving, getting tickets, flights, hotels. I mean, this is around the time that you start preparing all that. So they're just saying, you know what? Do we really think this is going to blow over by then? Do you want to take that chance to put all the money invested in it and then find out that the shit got scrapped and we can't get any of that money back? What do you want to do? So I think they're just taking the safe bet and taking the money off the table.
It could be. And then, Adam, you sent this to me. I Am 8-Bit. Now, I Am 8-Bit, they were the creative, the creative director of the show. They were going to have their graphics and all that other stuff, adorning E3 or whatever. They said they're out.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about them,
bad.
They didn't say it was because of coronavirus. They just said we're out.
Yeah, we're out. Yeah. Well, they don't need to mention it. Everybody knows. This is it. Just like our boy, what's his name? Keeley. Yeah, well, I mean, that goes back to what we talked about before. Like, Jeff Keighley leaving is a pretty big deal, Mm-hmm. Say what you will about the guy. It's a huge fucking deal,
Well, here's the thing, too. This is another excuse that companies can use to kind of push things digital, So think about it. Like, how would you transition all of these conventions and shows and having presentations and stuff and live events and spending all this money into digital events, right? Either people slowly start bowing out of these things, and it would take years, right? Or you ride on a pandemic that you can easily go, oh, gee, we don't want anybody to get sick. We're pulling out of this show and we're going to do virtual things. That's my little tinfoil hat. I don't think Sony pulled out of all these things because they're really authentically scared of coronavirus. I think they're using it as an opportunity to pull back and then just have digital events and smaller shows.
Second.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree, especially because it seems like all these companies just want to pull out now,
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And industry shows really existed. Why? Because back, when we were younger and we were buying magazines, the only way we got demos was through the magazines, and the only way we got info about the industry was the guys at the magazines going to these shows and hearing from the industry people. But now that you have access, like you have fucking social media and you can have creators online and they could stream whenever they want. They have developers interviews whenever they want. Yeah. And then they can have documentaries. So they don't need to go to LA and spend millions of dollars on booths and hotels and all that shit anymore. So, but the thing is, how do you do that without looking like the bad guy in the industry? You blame a fucking virus, and there you go. And then you just don't come back.
That's man, that'd be a hell of a thing. I do want to address something that Goose asked in the Throwdown chat. Now, this is not the question show, but if you guys you have a question that's pertinent to whatever we're talking about, we'll address it. And it's a good one. So he asked over on Discord, as an industry pro, and he's talking to me, Ramudeth, as an industry pro and someone who has attended E3 before, how big of an impact would E3 being canceled have on quote-unquote behind-the-scenes type stuff, like developers setting up meetings to pitch games to publishers, developers networking, deals getting cut to make video games, etc. I know lots of that happens during E3, and that isn't talked about much because people just focus on the pressers. I'm glad he asked that because, during E3, it's a great way for these companies to meet up with each other, have all these deals and all this other stuff. However, they can do that outside of E3, and they could do that at numerous other events. Remember, E3 is not the only game in town. You know what I'm saying? So as far as like developers or whatever, like making deals, they could do that shit outside of E3. E3 is not necessary for that. It used to be back in the day when E3 was the only big gathering around. Yes, it used to be very important, and especially if you were like a smaller developer, it would be very good for you to make deals. But now you can do that anytime. You have the internet now. You have all dozens and dozens of game shows around the world, you know. So, and also I do need to add that not every developer in the industry is at E3. There have been many times where I've gone to small events for indie developers, and I'll tell them, hey, I've been to E3, and their eyes just like open up like, oh man, I wish I could go to E3. This is a game developer telling me this shit. You know, so not every game developer is at E3. It's not like that, if that's what you were thinking. So as far as like how much of an impact would E3 have, you know, E3's cancellation have on the industry? Absolutely. Like, it would be a moral hit, obviously. It would look bad, but functionally it wouldn't have a hit like that. People could do the same things at E3 other places. You know, companies could, you know, stream their shit, and the behind the scenes stuff, which is what you're asking about, could happen anytime, anywhere, man.
So Tony, you've been
E3 takes advantage of the fact.
By the way, I want Chris and Manny to jump in on this because you guys have been to E3 as well. You know,
E3 I mean, like, one thing about it is that it takes advantage of the fact that everybody's in the same room at the same time. And I think I think that's part of the thing he's talking about, where it's like, okay, where now you have like a guy who's trying to pitch a game, like I think his name is Adam Boyes, who's currently at he's currently the main guy at the guy that made the company that made the Killer Instinct game. What's that guy? Those guys' name again? I can't remember that studio.
What, Double Helix?
The original?
Yeah, the original one.
Oh, Rare. That was Rare.
No. I mean, the second one. The
Iron Galaxy?
Iron Galaxy. So
thank you, Goose.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that was Double Helix initially. They made the game. Iron Galaxy took it over after
Iron Galaxy took it over. So Adam Boyes is the guy the main man at Iron Galaxy. Now he goes to E3 because has a couple of presentations, for games that he wants to get published from his studio. Obviously, having being there helps, because he can walk over to Studio One and be like, hey, listen, we got this idea for a game. We just want to look for a publisher for it, blah, 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 stuff like that. So there is definitely that sort of thing that sort of gets missed. Can he go fly over to, fly all over the country and, do presentations? Yeah, sure he can. But, everybody's all in the same room, and he can make an appointment with them too. So it has a bit of a give and take in that situation.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is a great way for people to meet each other. But again, E3 is not the only game in town anymore.
No,
right?
Granted that Tony was not at PAX because they also canceled out of that one too. But yes, you could probably do it at a PAX. You could probably, if everybody in the industry is going to Tokyo Game Show or going to
Gamescom,
PAXs.
They have all the PAXs that are going on. There's a lot of big events. Chris, what's your take on this, man?
Well, I mean, I agree with you. It will be a hit because E3 is such a part of the industry and people know it, and that was like the central source of info, but it's been spreading out. Now, I mean, didn't Capcom hold back like Street Fighter V until PAX? They didn't even announce it at E3. They announced it outside of E3. And then EA pulled out of E3 years ago, and they have their state of play and whatever outside of the convention center. They rent their own space, and publishers will hold their own private events. I mean, Tony's been to them. When I was at Nintendo, we'd hold private events and invite industry and stuff, and pretty generous. They, there's giveaways and there's food and all that stuff. They'll even fly people around. So you have them, and they can spend astronomically less money to do their private events or go to smaller shows than to E3. So while it's sad that E3 would fold, I think after this, I think if it folds because of coronavirus, I don't think it's coming back. But it kind of was happening anyway. It just happened slower.
Yeah. By the way, I'm glad you bring that up. Let's again, because obviously at E3, and I'm talking about from the journalist side of this street now. What's the main thing you do at E3, right? Besides networking, all that other good jazz. You play the games and you have hands on. You talk to people, right? Again, E3 is not the only game in town anymore. There's a lot of other events that this happens, and I'm speaking for myself personally. I go to maybe 2 or 3 events in the city a month to play these games. I played that Final Fantasy VII demo that you guys played. I paid a 3-hour version of that the week before it came out. So if these companies don't want to have like a E3 presence, they could just fly journalists out to wherever they are, or just have them in the major cities, Los Angeles and New York. So that doesn't impact me either. Like I didn't go to E3 last year, for example, right? All the major games, or most of the major games that they had at E3, I was able to play that summer when the developers showed them off in New York. So again, not really needed. It's not really going to have that much of an impact, even as far as coverage goes. So again, I think that just stems from, and Goose, I'm not going to, basically, I understand where you're coming from. Like, we all have this vision of what E3 is, this fucking monolith of a thing. And it was for many, many decades, but that's not the way it is. It's just not that important anymore. There are other things that have replaced E3 that just made the damn thing irrelevant. The only way E3 could be relevant is if they restructure it for the new millennium or whatever, but it doesn't seem like you're going to do that. So anyway, that's my take on that. Anything else you guys want to say on that?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna miss not being there. So
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the plan. I mean, we were gonna go see if we get going, but
yeah. Well, I mean, this year, we were gonna try to go, but it looks like it may not even happen this year. And then with my personal thing, I don't know which side I'm gonna be going with if I go. So it's up in there. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe I dodged a bullet this year. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, I kind of agree.
Maybe dodge more than just a bullet.
Oh, right, shit. By the way, just to bring this up real quick. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna, because that's kind of speculative. Anyway, so we're gonna end the show. By the way, I don't mean we're gonna end it now. Like we're gonna end the show. We're gonna end the show with a big fucking segment right now. This may take up an hour and a half.
We talking about Final Fantasy the demo?
Maybe afterwards. We need to talk about something very important. This week marked the 25th anniversary. Right? Or is this 25th anniversary? Yeah.
No, it's
the 20th.
20th. Okay, yeah. I can't math, people. The 20th anniversary of the PlayStation 2. What I'm going to call right now the greatest console of all time. I said it, and tonight I think we're going to prove it. By the way, we've talked about this before, and we kind of all came to that consensus. Objectively speaking, yes, it is. But right now, and we've done this before, but we're going to do it again. We're going to talk about the PlayStation 2 and our favorite games for it, and just tell stories about it, man. It's going to be crazy. So I'm going to start with Adam, man. How did you get a PlayStation 2? What were your favorite games? And just throw in any little cool stories that you got.
Kind of crazy that you started with me, because my situation with them. But when I got my PlayStation 2, it was just because I can copy the games, and I had my own little trick for it. So I was like, oh, shit, this is cool. And that was it. I think the only games I played on it was Tony Hawk, Spider-Man. I loved the EA Big Series when they had those games. I loved the NFL Street and the NBA Street and Freestyle, SSX. Those were the games that I played on the PS2, and those were my favorite ones. We played some Metal Gear, of course. Metal Gear, that was a big deal on there. But
it's funny because it's funny that you did choose him first, because that was when he was full Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of knew what I was doing going to Adam first,
I saw that.
That was back in that era time. I think the first PlayStation 2 that you got was the one I got you.
Mm.
What did
that was I had the fat one. I had the big one, right? And that one I did for a while, and then when I did through the whole divorce, she kept the PlayStation. There we go. Yeah. That's how that worked. So then that's when I moved to Harlem, and then you got me the silver mini one.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And that one I did legit, and I played God of War. And that was what I played a lot of, God of War on there. And then now I still play the PlayStation 2, but through my emulation.
Mm-hmm.
And Def Jam, Fight for New York. That's one of my classic games on there. Those are the ones I did a lot. And I think about it, like for the later gens, it became more about first-person shooters, especially like Halo and stuff. But for that gen, it was more about just the skateboarding games, the sport games, the fighting games, the quick pick up and play games. The only game I could think of that was heavy on the story was Metal Gear. Playing that because that was a deep story on there. But everything else, I didn't really play anything that was very heavy story-wise. So it was all about sports and action. But again, even no shooting. There was no first-person shooters that I could really recall playing on the PlayStation 2. Even now, like I look at my collection that I currently play, I don't have any.
Not even the first Killzone. That was on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, not even the first Killzone. Because remember, at the time, it just didn't look right. The controls weren't there yet. Because I remember playing a Star Wars battle. It was one of the Star Wars version, and it was like you were a stormtrooper.
It probably was original fucking Battlefronts, man.
It wasn't a Battlefront game though. But anyway, either way, it was a first person, and it sort of played like Doom. It had like Doom controls and stuff, and it just didn't feel right. And we had the Wolfenstein and stuff like that, but. That wasn't the type of games for me though. When I think back, someone says real quick, PlayStation 2, real quick, I'm thinking of the EA Sports series with the big series specifically, just like the NBA Street. I'm thinking of NFL Street. I'm thinking Tony Hawk. Spent a lot of time in Tony Hawk. 1, 2, 3. I think Undergrounds also came out on there. Those are the games that I spent a lot of time playing and then of course God of War. Yeah, God of War I guess was kind of heavy with the story, but not so much. No, because you didn't have to collect items and really you just got to go in and clear a room and go to the next and fight a big boss.
God of War was also kind of a late gen game. That was like
it was.
It was like two.
Both of them were.
1 and 2 was like, oh man, it's all over. It's the end of the generation, and they do this thing.
Well, remember, God of War 2 came out the same year as PS3 came out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, even when remember last week when we were talking about sport games and aggressive inline, and I put that on. I was playing aggressive inline on PlayStation 2. Again, it was just those type of games. So when it comes to play, but I agree though with what you said, Tony. I think that is probably, I would say it is the best console ever come out just because of the vast library. It had so many games. There was whatever type of game you wanted, it was on there. And that's one of the beauties of it. And that's what I liked about when I was doing what I was doing. Because I was like, shit, there's everything on here. Whatever I really feel like playing, I can play it. But the games I prefer playing were the ones I mentioned.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I'm going to go over to... actually, no, Manny, I'll save you for later. Because our PlayStation 2 stories are kind of linked, in an interesting way. Actually, hold on real quick. Goose asked how old we are. He says he was 12 when PlayStation 2 came out. Damn, you make me feel old, son.
I'm 42.
I am. Oh, shit. Eric cuts his rating with 11 people. Thank you, Erica. Appreciate that. Erica cuts for the win. She's fucking awesome. That's another person that I met at E3. Super cool. And check out her stream. Actually, we host her a lot too. She's been playing a lot of Gears of War lately. Adam, I know you could agree with that.
There we go. There we gotta play.
Yeah. So Erica, thank you so much. I'm gonna move over. Adam, hold on. You're 42. I thought you were older than that.
No, 1977, August 4th.
Oh shit. Okay. Damn. Okay.
Elvis died that summer. I remember my mom.
Yeah, because I just turned 40 a couple weeks ago, But Adam, you know how it is. But we're Latino, son. We don't look our age.
That's it. I still get a card for my ID at certain places. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yo, by the way, I give dudes a side eye when they try to ID me. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now, bro?
There's nothing wrong with that. Might as well.
Yeah. Yet I'm the guy that if you call me sir, I'm like, damn right, sir.
Yeah, damn right.
Goose, man, you too young, son, but that's all good. He's actually around the same, because most of our audience, they're between like in their mid-20s and like early 30s, so you fit the demographic of Throwdown for sure.
I think it's mid-20s to mid-40s.
Oh, you think so?
We have a lot of people that are in their mid-40s.
We got some old heads in the crowd.
Oh, no, we definitely do. I guess the louder guys, the ones I talk to, are always in their 20s. And by the way, we've been doing this show like for a long time.
Yeah, man.
Almost 10 fucking years.
Dude. Wait, hold on. I'm about to blow your mind.
Oh.
People younger than us use the internet more to yell at people and communicate. They have a louder voice on the internet because, we don't use it as much. Even if we use it completely, like you were born into this.
Yeah, I forgot what it was like. I remember. I'm gonna butcher it a little bit, but basically the joke was like, millennials, they go on like social media to complain about boomers, right? Old people. Boomers go on social media to complain about millennials. Guys our age, we text each other like, yo, did you see that new Black Widow trailer? Like, we just stay away from all that bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hilarious, man. Anyway, Brett, since you're talking, why don't you tell us your PlayStation 2 story, how'd you got it, and what were some of your favorite games for it?
And how old are you?
Yes.
I was just about to go grab a smoke. Okay, cool. That's
Do
fine.
you need a break, bro? Because we could go to somebody else.
No. I can do this. That's cool. Let's see. I got my first.
Look at this man's jacket right now, son.
What's that?
Look at your jacket. Just
Oh, dude, I'm fucking. That's how I roll.
Nice.
Whatever that is. I got my first PlayStation after my Xbox red ringed for the second time, and so it wasn't really a joyous experience for me.
Wait, are you sure you were talking about the right one? Because originally,
Yeah, no, that was around the first.
He got his PlayStation 2 later, didn't you, Brett?
well,
Yeah, wait.
Like way later, because
Am I talking about PS3?
yeah,
No,
you are.
no,
Yeah,
PS2.
Two. We're talking about two.
I
PS2.
remember.
No, okay. Man, all this shit blends together. I was actually sitting here. I was like, "Fuck! Which one was that? Was that the one where
That's
I got it?"
You hate.
Yeah, I remember fucking hating that goddamn thing. Because it broke so many times. Oh, that's what it was.
The PlayStation.
That's why I went to the 360, because the PlayStation 2 was a piece of shit.
Oh damn!
Don't get me wrong. It had some fantastic games, but as a device, if you looked at it sideways, it would just fall apart. It was not structurally sound. It was not well engineered. I'm pretty sure everybody knew. Didn't everybody break their PlayStation eventually?
Yeah.
Me, no.
Yeah, my shit lasted a year before I get another one. That shit
It
broke
still-
mad
it still- It
fast.
still worked.
Something broke on it.
Yeah, and Brett, and then the one I did get replacement after that, the fucking disc tray would always pull some bullshit on me.
Dude, and that's where I say, like, I watched my buddy pull one brand new out of the box, hook it up, plug it in, press the eject button, put a disc in the tray, press the eject button again, the tray closed, and the front just fell off.
Shit.
We were just sitting there in disbelief, like, did that just fucking, like, what? Was it broken before? What the? How does this happen? It's brand fucking new. It was like our third PlayStation too. So like, yeah, it was not a great thing. It had great games, but I think Adam nailed it. Like, the biggest one I remember was sitting around just playing massive amounts of Tony Hawk.
Yeah, man, that was a great time sink. I loved it. It was so fun. It was so cool. It's just let me fucking play this shit right now.
It was, and there was Soul Calibur on PS2, right?
Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur
Yeah,
2.
Soul Calibur 2 is on there.
Yeah, I remember sinking a lot of time into that as well. Dude, I unlocked everything on that.
Oh yes, yes.
Heihachi in it. Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah, had Heihachi. That's right. Because remember the other versions, like the Nintendo one had Link, and then the Xbox version had Spawn. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, Spawn.
Spawn.
Yeah. No. See, that's mostly what I remember. I've been sitting here thinking about it. I'm sure somebody will say something now. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that." Man, it is all running together.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll pop up.
Mostly Soul Calibur and Tony Hawk were, the big games that we were playing. Again, I was that was right around my. Was I right about like 16? I was smoking a lot of pot.
Oh man, you're crazy, bro.
Well, I mean, this was a long time ago. Smoking a lot of weed at that time. Like, it's I don't know what you.
Like, God damn it! it was 20 years ago, man. What am I supposed to remember?
Yeah. God, yeah. No, Manny is exactly right. It was 20 years ago. What the fuck do you people want from me?
Yeah, love it. All right, man. Let's move on to Chris.
Yeah, so I actually got lucky. I remember when PS2 launched. I mean, it was selling out everywhere. And actually, the place I worked at, my boss, he had a buddy who worked at GameStop. So he hits me up. He's like, "Yo, my buddy said he hold a couple consoles for me. You want to go get PS2?" I'm like, "Fuck yes!" We bounced from work we run over to the Times Square GameStop, and I got it. And the only games they had available at the time was like Summoner and Orphan. So I got Summoner and Orphan with the PS2. I was so excited. I remember I went home, I played Orphan, and I was like, "Wow, this kind of sucks, man." I played Summoner after that. Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck is this shit, man?" It didn't get good early on until I got, I think, Silent Hill 2, and then my mind melted when I saw that game. I was like, "Holy shit, this looks fucking amazing," you know. And I was very fortunate with PS2. Like, as much as I played on it, I had a ton of games on there. I had a huge library. My fat PS2 did not break. I never had to calibrate it. I cleaned the lens like once. I never had like tray issues. Like, I know plenty of people. My Kristen has stories. Hers, she laser calibrated, her disc tray stopped working. Everybody seems to have those stories. I got lucky with mine. It didn't break. But some of the best games I played on there, like I said, Silent Hill 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Vice City, San Andreas, the SOCOM games. There was Burnout. The first Burnout came out on there. There was, what was it? Oh, Sly Cooper. Yeah, Burnout Revenge came out on PS2. Resident Evil 4. That was the first time I played it. I know it came out. I never had GameCube, so the first place I played it was PS2. Man, yeah, there's a lot of good. Devil May Cry. I mean, there was so many fucking good games that came out on PS2.
It was like, ridiculous.
Shit.
Man.
You know, Ratchet and Clank. Like, oh man, Jack and Daxter. Shit, man.
Burnout 3, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, you realize that I think at this point in time, I mean, we kind of met each other in the early 2000s. So that means I've known you for like 20 years.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, remember now.
What's up?
Yeah, the reason I can't remember my PlayStation 2 era is because I didn't really fucking have much of one. That thing collected dust. I was hardcore Team Xbox back then.
Yeah, you were Xbox. You said this before.
Yeah, like, because I'm sitting there, it's like, what games did I play? And then I'm like, what did I play for fucking Xbox? Well, that's where I played GTA. That's where I played Jet Grind Radio. It's where I played Fable and Doom and Elder Scrolls and Knights of the Old Republic. Jesus, fucking. That's where I played Half-Life on there, I think. Like, there was just I played the shit out of my Xbox, man. The good Battlefront, I'm pretty sure I played that on Xbox because that's where the big multiplayer community was.
Yo, Adam, what are you doing right now, bro?
You load up a VHS tape? Yo, what is happening?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Beyond Good and Evil. Another one.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, we're not talking.
Yeah.
By the way,
I know that's not what we're talking about, but that's why it's like I can name like what, 2 games I was playing on the PlayStation, then I'm like, oh yeah, here's like 10 games I was rocking on my OG Xbox.
That's funny. No,
playing with the Duke.
I could just hear like a pony going, those aren't Xbox games. They're supposed to be a PlayStation celebration.
Oh, I know what.
Yeah, well, it would be a PlayStation.
He's loading up an emulator.
Yes, he is.
Oh. Yeah, he loaded a big box. Yeah, so.
Listen, we don't. We neither condone nor whatever the emulators. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. Do what you do, man. Yeah. What the fuck are we talking about? That's actually before we go to me and Manny. The younger guys. I want to see if you even played PlayStation 2. Brian, I think you did.
Oh yeah, hell I did. That's where I got my good taste of games from.
Damn. All right, so how'd you get the PlayStation, and what were your favorite games for it?
Yeah. So I got it because I really, really enjoyed X-Men 2. Even though I was probably like 12 at the time, so I had no sense in films. So I really wanted X-Men 2, and I seen that they had a video game about it, and I was like, ooh, seems good. Remember when they used to do video game tie-ins?
I remember.
Films? Like, man, those days was okay, I guess. So yeah, I got it bundled with X-Men 2, the game, and I played that for so long. Like, I sunk so many hours into it. And then I remember that's around the time when GTA Vice City came out, and I was like, oh, cool, a GTA game. Like, this seems kind of cool. But then I was like, okay, it's brand new. I don't have enough cash to shell out because I'm like 12. I'm broke. So went out and got GTA 3 because again, UK law, you can just walk in the shop and buy that because no one really cares anymore. So bought GTA 3, played the crap out of that, then played Mercenaries, and then at the same time, a friend of mine got a GameCube and he wanted to like trade. I was like, hey, like let's see how PlayStation is. So we traded like consoles for like 2 months, and then that's when I was introduced to Need for Speed. And then I played living hell out of Need for Speed on the GameCube. Loved it so much, I just kept it on watch. And then Most Wanted came out, played that. Also got into Mercenaries as well, and got into SOCOM 2, in fact. So like I was around a friend's house, and his cousin, he was out of jail and had the ankle bracelet, so hence he couldn't like leave his house. So then we just went around his place and played SOCOM for like hours on end, and that's it. So yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, like it has so many good games. What happened to all those good games, Sony?
Yeah, right. The GOAT, man, the GOAT. By the way, those Need for Speed games were fucking amazing.
Oh, Most Wanted was fucking
Most Wanted was awesome. Hot Pursuit was the shit too.
Yeah.
All right, Carlos, man, did you play the PlayStation DOS? Oh, he's muted right now. He's probably on a call or something. All right, Manny, story time.
Oh yeah, well, our again, like
kind of
Tony
intermixed.
said, our PlayStation 2 story is actually combined, and for at least for us, when we got it, we all three of me, Tony, and our friend Mike got it all at the same time because Mike knew a guy who knew a guy, and
what you bringing out? Hold on, whoa.
So this is what that looked like. We got the Gran Turismo edition of
shit
of PlayStation 2, and I still have the box and everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, because our boy Mike was able to get it for us really cheap. We didn't ask any questions how he was able to do that.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't ask any sort of questions. We just said, all right, if you can get it, you can get it. I forgot how much cheaper it was compared to the original one.
I remember paying like $150 for that. $150. I don't remember.
It was around $150. And came with Gran Turismo and all that. I can't remember all the stuff. It says includes with PlayStation 2 $49.99 value, limited edition. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, I mean, like for me, a lot of the games that I remember, I'm gonna say the Bouncer. I love that game, even though it's not the greatest. The Bouncer, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3. What was it? ICO or Eco, as you want to call it. That was like I remember I saw that game at the Software Etc. It was across the street from where we used to go. We used to 71st and Continental Labs. We used to be we always on Tuesdays because that was game day.
That was game day.
Wednesdays. Tuesdays was game day and new release game day and new CD day. So we would always go down to 71st Street and see what new CDs were at the Stam Goody, and then we go across the street to the game Software Etc. and see what new games came out. And I remember playing for the first time over there was just one of the demo discs, and it had Eco on there, and I was like, oh my god, I need to have this game. This thing's awesome. So playing that game. Shadow of the Colossus, also Dawson Aggressive Endline, a game that we talked about before I was. we had a little bit of throwdown about that game. Dragon Quest 8.
Wasn't that skating game you played?
Yeah,
yep, that was the rollerblading game. that caused the disturbance in the force. And the God of War games, man. God of War 1 and 2.
Manny, you had like the most brutally hard game I ever seen you play, Mark of Cree.
Oh my god, Mark of Cree was fucking hard as hell. Like, it's funny because like I bought when I played that was playing that, I bought that game for cheap because I was like, you know what, let me try these Mark of Cree games, and then I just playing it. I couldn't get past the first level. That game was so fucking hard.
Yeah, man.
And then I think it was when you die, it just resets itself. It was like,
it
was pretty brutal, but it was a pretty looking game. Oh man, there's just so many titles that I just absolutely love for PlayStation 2, and it just seemed like it was coming and coming. Once it got started, well, once it's got into its stride, because I gotta say, like, and Antonio agree with this, like when it first came out, there was like nothing for it.
Yeah, I mean, we did get lucky that year it first came out. Final Fantasy X and Metal Gear Solid 2 did come out, but after that, yeah, we got it in 2001.
Yeah, we got it in 2000.
We didn't get it at launch. We got it the year after it came out.
Yeah, we got the year after. So
yeah, that launch was rough, man.
Yeah, that
launch was pretty rough.
Yeah, no, we had good game. We had those two games, and those games kept us satisfied.
But I feel like when because I think Gran Turismo came out in December. The Gran Turismo 3 came out in December.
Yeah, but we got ours during the summer.
Was it?
We got our systems during the summer, so I think A-Spec must have come out in December of the year before that, but we weren't there for launch.
Oh, it was in April. So we've got this thing because Gran Turismo came out in April, and this bundle came out in April. Yeah. So it came out April 2001.
Yeah, I don't think we got it April. We got it in the summer. It was late summer. I remember.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah. So yeah.
There was a little bit. The following year was like Metal Gear Solid 2 and all that other stuff, but it was still a little dry. Like, I don't remember having very many games in the beginning, except for playing Gran Turismo over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I did get the Bouncer because that was a previous, that was like a launch title.
Yeah, I remember you playing the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll bring it up later because you'll agree with me. Anyway, so for me, and I got to go back a little bit because my story is a little bit interesting. So everybody likes to call me the Sony pony. They know me as a PlayStation, which I am. I'm a PlayStation guy, but that was not how I was originally. Originally, I was Sega fanboy to the tilt, and during the PlayStation 1 era, I was full on Sega Saturn. I was like, fuck PlayStation. Matter of fact, I had a very specific name for PlayStation, which I cannot say on air anymore because it'll offend people. But I think you guys can guess what I called it. It just replaced the play with something that rhymes with play. The A station. So I was like, fuck that shit. So when the Dreamcast died, and I've told this story so many times, I was like, that's it. I'm done with gaming. Like, it wasn't like that I said fuck gaming. It was just like, damn it, no Sega. That means there's no games to play. Shit.
It's funny because when he said all that crazy doom and gloom bullshit, I'm like, dude, you're gonna be playing something. He's like, no, fuck it, no.
Yeah, I was upset.
I'm gonna keep playing my Dreamcast.
And I did. I kept playing that Dreamcast until our boy Mike, he was like, yo, one of my boys got the PlayStation for $150. I'm like, shit, I can't pass that up. So I got the PlayStation. And during the entire time I had it, it was like I was reluctant to have it in my house, but the games were so fucking good, Like, the best way I can describe it is like having a girlfriend. You don't like her, she annoys the shit out of you, but delay's good, So you keep her around. So that's how I kind of had the feel with the PlayStation. But yeah, that year was fucking crazy, man. Final Fantasy X, which I called X, I still call Final Fantasy X. Fucking Metal Gear Solid 2. But by the way, because I got stories, man. I got PlayStation stories for days. The first game, you guys are going to laugh at me. The first game I bought for that fucking system, I bought 2 games, right, for that system. I bought Metal Gear Solid, right, because I always loved that game. Even though I had to hate on it out of principle and shit, I was like, I got to get that. So I got that. And Final Fantasy 8. 8, not 7, 8. Because my dumbass, I'm like, hey, I want the future one. I want the futuristic Final Fantasy, man. I don't like that 7. Yeah, I mean, I like 7, but I was like, 7 looked corny compared to 8. That was a bad mistake, man. I should have got 7. I got to the 4th disc. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm done with this game. I didn't beat it until like 10 years later when they had it on PS3.
Let me tell you, PS2 was the only time I ever bought a full game to play a demo. I didn't play Zone of Enders for a fucking week. And I just played the tanker, the demo disc for Metal Gear over and over again.
Yo, that was real right there, man.
Yeah, man. I didn't touch the main game.
Yeah, but so yeah, and then going back, and one of the reasons I had a shit ton of PlayStation games because I'm not gonna name his name, but Manny and I had a mutual friend back in the day, right? he always had to go into, his parole officer to get his pee tested, right? So he would come to me and get my pee because, I don't do drugs and shit. And I still don't, If you need my services, by the way, I'm free. So drinking is the most, alcohol's legal or whatever. So he would be like, yo, give me your pee. It was always once a week. I'll give you a game. Because remember, PlayStation 2, you could bootleg shit. You could rip games and shit. So I got all this stuff. Like all those racing games I played, Burnouts and fucking Need for Speed. I probably shouldn't be admitting this, but whatever. All that shit. Got it through emulation or whatever. But, but obviously I still bought a bunch of games. All the Prince of Persias, all three of them are fucking great. The God of Wars, obviously. GTA changed my whole life, man. GTA 3, that game was so good. I couldn't play other games after it because they all seemed like shit compared to it. Like this is dumb. This isn't fucking good. It wasn't until like Vice City where I was satisfied again. Vice City was so good. San Andreas was the shit.
Oh, San Andreas.
Are you kidding me right now?
Shit.
It's funny. I think San Andreas is the only Grand Theft Auto game that I've actually fully finished.
Yeah, San Andreas is awesome. Ratchet and Clank games for shit. Sly Cooper games. Fucking Jack and Daxter. I played all that shit, man. That system was amazing. And I'm going to say this right now. I still maintain that is the last pure system that we've had, because after that, what did we get? We started getting online, which means microtransactions, DLCs, patches, all this nonsense. We didn't have to deal with any of that shit on PS2. Granted, the PS2 did have online, but I wasn't connected because you still had to have you had to connect with the 46K modem back then.
I actually did have the PlayStation modem, and I got it for Metal Gear Solid 3 because there was Metal Gear Online that they had the first version.
Oh, that's right. Online.
That's right. And,
yeah. I got it with the modem, and also I think Final Fantasy have it. But also, just like the Dreamcast, you could also download. They had like really cool like skins that you could get for Snake. So you get like they had like a Christmas outfit and all kinds of other things that you could download off their little thing online.
Yeah,
well as play on Middle Ground.
And then of course gotta say it. I've said it millions of fucking times. I'm gonna say it again. Manny's with me. Metal Gear Solid 3, man.
Yep.
That was the best game on that fucking system. Yeah, Chris agrees, obviously. And then for me personally, my favorite game of all time till this day, Metal Gear Solid 3. Nothing touches that fucking game to me. Like I always said, that's the best movie I've ever played. Because it felt so cinematic. And okay. Metal Gear Solid 1 fucked me up as soon as you start, because you're moving Snake around and the credits are still rolling. It's like, how is this possible? How are they doing that? Metal Gear Solid 3 took it to the next level. You play for like 2 or 3 hours, right? And then the intro starts. Fucking crazy. I'm like, I just played a James Bond intro, man.
I think I freaked out playing that game because I think on my first playthrough, I saw the end in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, can I shoot this motherfucker? And I killed him in the wheelchair. I called Manny. I'm like, dude, the boss was in a fucking wheelchair. I shot him. I couldn't believe I did that
I was
shit.
like, wait, what?
Yo, by the way, the end, my favorite boss battle of all time. Now, this is how serious it was. You guys remember memory cards back in the day? We're taking you back, people. I had a memory card specific with that save, so I could replay it over and over and over again, because there were so many ways you could kill this guy. You could take him out normally, by sniping him and shit. You could sneak up on him. You could change the clock on the PlayStation 2, and he'll die of old age. Thank you, Adam, for putting Snake Eater on there. And then obviously you have the fucking theme song. I was just thinking about it today. I'm not gonna sing for you guys, but the fucking lyrics and shit. Oh my god, Metal Gear Solid 3 is so fucking good, and it's a shame. It's a shame that we can't play it on PlayStation 4s, man. Yeah, we can hear it. Yeah. Oh man, I love Metal Gear Solid 3. Greatest game of all time on the greatest system of all time, the PlayStation 2, man. And by the way, he's still fucking muted. Carlos, he predicted, or he had a theory, I don't know, whatever the fuck it was, but he was like, yo, they're going to announce the PlayStation 5 on the 20th anniversary of PS2. And a lot of people thought the same thing on Twitter. That didn't end up happening, man.
After the end of World War II.
Yo, Adam,
East, West.
Can you lower that somehow or turn the volume off?
The era called the Cold War.
This began the era of the Cold War.
Thank you, man. Not that I don't want to hear it, but it's like, yo, we got a show to do, man. Oh my god, he's fucking me up right now.
I'm muted.
No, I still hear
you're
it.
not muted.
You're not.
Hear it right
no, we can hear the game.
Yeah, we can hear the game.
Sure, we hear it.
Yeah,
now we hear it louder.
We hear it even louder. I mean, I think I could just thank you. Yeah. Oh my God, Metal Gear for life, man.
You know, it's funny. Speaking of the being, the later era, like the PlayStation 3 era, being the era of updates. I actually ended up returning Metal Gear Solid 2 like 3 different times because the game would freeze.
It'll fuck up on you. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it literally would freeze at the beginning of the game when you see Revolver Ocelot, and he's like, "No, I'm taking it back." That the game would freeze every single time at that point.
No patches, man. No patches.
No patches back then.
I literally kept returning them until I got one that worked. 3 times, I think. Yeah.
I had that problem with Prince of Persia. Actually, I returned 2 discs. It would if you would get stuck at the opening. I don't know why.
Oh, and of course, we also have to talk about the other reason the PlayStation 2 was so successful. It was a DVD player. It was a cheap DVD player.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because like not long before that we got that, and I think we talked about it too. Me and Tony already invested in fucking DVD players. I think you bought one, and then I eventually bought one, but I gave you the money or something like that.
Yeah, I remember we bought them on the same day. I could be wrong about that, but we went to the Wiz. Like if you guys remember the Wiz back in the day, we bought them at the Wiz. Mine cost me $350.
I don't think mine was nearly that much, but it was expensive for
that thing. Cost me so much when I got the PlayStation 2. I refused to play DVDs on it because I'm like, no, the DVD player's for DVDs, man. I didn't spend all that money for that shit just for it to sit there,
I wonder if that led to how we were able to keep the PlayStation going for at least the 2 running for so long, because mine still runs because I never used a DVD on that thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, I had issues with my play, the disc read error that everybody had. I had that, but once it ran, it ran. I never had that issue. My disc, still read everything. But yeah, when I had that DVD player, I'm like, listen, I paid a lot of money for that shit. I'm using that as my DVD player. No DVD will ever go inside my PlayStation, just because of the principle of the damn thing. But it was a really good DVD player. It wasn't as good as the one I had, obviously. Like you could tell the difference, but it was still really, really good, and that helped, sell it for a lot of people,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely was a console that it was the beginnings of that sort of all-in-one thing where it's like, oh, it not only does video games, but it also plays movies.
Yeah, but no, the PlayStation 2 was fucking amazing, man. Again, in my estimation, the last pure console before it all went to shit. That's when you still had AA games, man, when they were still viable,
Yeah.
Shit is crazy. All right, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, any other PlayStation stories or games you guys want to talk about?
Oh, you know what I sort of missed? The fun little in your memory card, and every single memory card they used to have little 3D models.
Yeah, I remember that
you used to play. So every single you knew it was a sort of important game because usually the ones that usually had an actual little animated icon as opposed to just a block.
Yeah,
it's like oh these guys spent some money. They did some time on this one. Shadow of the Colossus had the horse. Eco had the little guy running around on it. All the Tekken games had at least one of their little characters kind of moving around. I think, I
remember Devil May Cry 3 had the girl sitting on her rocket launcher, just kicking her legs.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then there was a Metal Gear Solid 2. I meant 3 had
the Cypher, right? Oh,
yeah, Metal Gear 2 had the Cypher, and then Metal Gear Solid 3 had 2 different versions. They had the normal one, which I don't remember what the normal one was, but I remember the one that if you beat the game, you get the Patriot with the little flowers next to it, to represent the boss.
Yeah, man, memory cards, man. That was like the last system I remember that had them.
Yeah, that pretty much was the last system.
Everything after that's just all on your hard drive.
Yeah, like Xbox had. I remember Xbox had their little memory card.
They had a little memory card,
and that actually went in the controller. And then PlayStation had theirs was old school. It was a little cartridge that went underneath the thing, underneath the controller slot.
I remember in Metal Gear when who was it that you were fighting that he could read the games that were on your memory card?
Mantis.
Psycho Mantis. That threw me off. I remember I was sitting in front of my bed on the floor and I'm playing. I got that one, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen you been playing." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Unplug it. The man found me.
Your game, your unique situation because you had a lot of games that were already listed on there. So you had Symphony of the Night and you had Azure Dreams. like you just games, because that was the time when, at least PlayStation 1 time, you were working at game software, etc.
Yeah. So I had a
Like I remember you did that one shit where it was like, like you could take the game home for like a week or something like that.
Well, that was, I don't know if they still did that, but that was what they encouraged. We'd get a game a few days early or sometimes a week early, and they would encourage us to take it home, play it, so that way we could help sell it when people come in. That happened with Final Fantasy VII, Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider, and a few other games that I remember. Or Sessions. Remember Sessions?
Were you working there at the early 2000s at software?
Let me see.
I'm having trouble remembering it.
No, that must have been 97, 98, because at the same time I was working at Webster Hall. Yeah, remember, that was the same time I was double dipping on 2 jobs. I would leave work from the GameStop and then go to Webster Hall, work nights, and then sometimes I would have to open the GameStop. So then I would just go to a diner called Around the Clock, eat breakfast and stuff, and hang out there until it's time to open the game, the software, etc.
So okay, so this is early 2000s. So you were working
90.
You were at working at the place near
It's on 8th Street. It was
you were close to the World Trade Center at that time.
Not that one. You're thinking later on when I went to when I was working at J&R. J&R. I was during 9/11. I was on my way to work during that day of 9/11.
Because that's very close to when we got these things. So it's like 2001, 2002 is 9/11. That's also the same year.
2001 is 9/11.
2001 is 9/11.
2001 is 9/11. So yeah.
Yeah. Because it must have been 98. It was like 97, 98, maybe 99 around that time. That was when it was for the software, etc.
Yeah. So it's like, that was insane.
Yeah, that was before they bought EB Games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By the way, we should mention, because remember, Metal Gear Solid 2 came out came out during 9/11. That's what they had to change the tanker sequence at the end, where it crashes into the city and shit.
Yep, there's a whole sequence that was cut out of the game. In fact, at the time there was this whole big thing. Oh man, will Metal Gear Solid 2 even come out because or be delayed? And it, Kojima managed to pull it together and essentially just sort of hit a bunch of stuff within the cinematics, the shots of the city. Like there were ads for the game which had Shinkawa work on it, and they used to have the Twin Towers on there, and then they had to they essentially just removed one of the towers and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah,
a lot of projects had to change during that time. Remember Spider-Man, their trailer?
That's right.
Where he would catch a helicopter between the two towers, and they scrapped that.
They scrapped that. A lot of stuff, crazy stuff happened.
Yeah, crazy. All right. Anything else on PlayStation 2?
I don't know, man. This is so many good memories from that generation of games.
Yeah, that was a great time to be a gamer, man.
I just felt like, especially when toward the end of it, it just felt like they just kept on throwing really great shit out.
Well, I think that's why people don't understand when we say this generation is just fucking disappointing or mediocre at best, because we had that.
Yeah,
right? It was fucking great. That's what we're comparing it to.
Yeah, we're thinking back on that era specifically. It's like, this generation was not good compared to that. It just wasn't.
It's funny though. Like speaking like my buying habits, my buying habits throughout the years, and I want to say 2000, the year 2000, in the early 2000. That's when my life got really, really busy. With work and going to school and doing all that stuff, because that's when I started college and shit. So my game habits still haven't really changed. I still don't buy a whole every single game that comes out per generation. So for me, PlayStation 4 time, I'm still it take a long time to beat these games. I don't buy a lot of them, and it just seems about the same to me as it was before.
Yeah. But you can understand why the other guys who do play a lot of games are like, what's up with this generation, man? It hasn't lived up to it, man.
I spend more time playing my old shit than you see it in my whole collection. I just play my old shit every time. What was it? There was a good way of describing it, but it's like when you have so many games to play to the point you just get overwhelmed and you're like, you know what? Fuck that. I just want to play something quick and easy. 1943, and then that's it. And I just spending time playing that instead of all the other shit. I still haven't played Days Gone. I got tons of games I have not even started. Just sitting there.
I think sometimes you kind of yearn for the simplicity of things. I felt that a little bit too, where it's like, where you have these kind of like 50 million hour games. I'm like, okay, now I just kind of want to do something a little simpler, and in between the big mega games,
Yeah.
I think that's why people are excited for Animal Crossing. To be quite honest.
Yeah, that's a simple game. Yeah, it's a chill game. All right. So yeah, let's talk about the Final Fantasy demo that dropped onto Monday. Actually, it came out of nowhere. For people.
They just went like, boom, done.
Yeah. By the way, it didn't come out of nowhere for me. I knew they were going to drop it that day. That's also when I dropped my impressions. But the demo I played was different because I played the same demo that's up on the PlayStation Store, but I also played. There's a cinema at the end, right? At this thing, I played all that. I played another boss battle. I played 2 more boss battles. Fucking amazing. I'll tell you.
You actually got to play. You got to play as Tifa.
I got to play as Tifa. I got to play as. Yeah, I played as her, played as Aerith, I hate saying that, but it's Aerith, man. But yeah, Manny, what are your thoughts on the demo?
You know what? I'm going to say this.
Uh-oh.
I keep talking about the bouncer. This fucking game is like the bouncer. It's almost exactly the same. Like, it's like not exactly simple. Like, it's like a simple sort of version of the bouncer. Like you go, you jump off the side of the train, and then you run through the thing. Then a cinematic happens. You go fight some more people. Then another cinematic happens. It's like it's weird, man. I think it's because it's Tetsuya Nomura, and he had to do something with that game too. So it's weird. It's like a weird throwback kind of weird thing. I mean, I don't hate it, but one thing about playing it, I played it at E3. It's just weird to play this game this way. Like just playing it's essentially just to beat 'em up, but with Final Fantasy characters in it. I don't know. I mean, granted, I haven't played any of the new Final Fantasy games that are like that. Like my Final Fantasy time has kind of, the last Final Fantasy game that I actually played is Final Fantasy X, PlayStation 2 time. So,
yeah.
I was playing it and I was like, yeah, this is decent. It looks nice, but I don't know. It's kind of like the dopey version of Final Fantasy. Like, we just made it like, there's no real strategy behind any of it. Maybe there's a couple of things like, hey, you got to switch to Barret to shoot things from far away. I mean, it's good, but I just kind of miss the sort of the little more thought process that the original game has.
Yeah. Who else? Go
ahead. And classic mode is fucking.
Oh yeah. Talk about classic mode. Yeah.
Oh,
excuse me.
Classic mode is fucking bullshit. Okay, so like obviously you see a thing like classic mode. Oh, hey, it's gonna turn into a turn-based RPG. No, it doesn't. The fucking game is in automatic mode. All you need to do, you don't even need to touch the controller. Fucking Cloud just starts hitting shit and running around and fighting everything in the room. And what it does is it just says it puts the game on easy mode, and then what it does is it sets all your actions to automatic except for all of their your active commands. So like if you want to do like braver or use magic and stuff, all of that is like you stop the essentially you stop things and then you can do set those different things up. But otherwise you can just let Cloud just fucking beat the shit out of everything and just not do anything. Just walk him to the next area and he'll kill everything in that area too.
Yeah, classic mode.
Classic mode is not fucking classic. It's fucking fucking easy mode, like stupid mode, or cinematic mode, because it looks cool because he's doing a bunch of shit that you probably couldn't remember how to do. He's blocking bullets and all kinds of other shit. But yeah, bullshit.
All right. Who else played it?
I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I did not play it.
All right. So I will give my impressions. I'm pretty much just going to give you a what I did in my article. So even though I am looking forward to it, I am not one of these people that desired a Final Fantasy VII remake. I was perfectly happy with the old one, and like Brent and I have talked about many times, if they would have just made the old one look nicer, I would have been happy with that too. But
I feel the same exact way about it. It's like, I would
have been fine with it, turn-based and all that shit.
Yeah, just went back to turn-based and shit like that. But obviously, I know why they did that stuff, because it's like, because modern audiences can't accept fucking turn-based.
Yeah, master audiences, because obviously JRPG fans do. Persona 5 is one of the biggest selling games out there. That's hardcore turn-based, hardcore turn-based. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, again, so I went in there not really expecting something like, I'll play Final Fantasy, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm on board. I loved it. I fucking loved that shit. It was so good. Like I like how even though you're still hacking and slashing, there's still strategy. I was about to say strategery. There's still strategy to it. Like you're blocking, you're dodging, and then you bring up your menus and you like slowly line shit up and stuff, because time doesn't stop. It just slows down a little bit or whatever. So I really enjoyed that. It's like mixing my JRPG like knowledge with my hack and slash shit.
It just reminded me of more like Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that. It just looks like it's an extension of that sort of idea, where it's like, granted, Kingdom Hearts doesn't have a slowdown thing where it's everything's sort of relegated to a specific button.
Yeah.
And how come you can't heal in the menus?
Yeah, that's a weird one,
Yeah, like you can't, you can't go, you can go into your menu, you press like the pause button, you pull up the menu, and then you're like, I'm trying to click to heal my character on the menu, but it won't let me. But I have to do it through the active time menus. When you press the X button, then it pops a little menu on, then you go down there, and then it's like, what is this?
Yeah. Also, and then for me, Chris, I got to do it, man.
Oh wait, does it have voice acting, or is it just dialogue bubbles?
Voice acting.
It was voice acting. Hey, Chris, what my favorite part was?
What's that?
The boss battles. You guys know what I'm talking about. But I'm sincere. By the way, what I wrote, I wrote my preview the night beforehand, so I didn't see what happened the next day, right? I could talk about it. So basically, one of the writers from Kotaku, I'm not going to name him, he said like, oh, there's too much things to do in this game. You got to keep track of this, you got to keep track of that. And I'm like, you mean to keep track of games? Like, that's what you do in games, man. You multitask, bro. And it's funny because he was complaining about that yet the night before. I didn't know this guy was going to say this, obviously. I said, I love the fact that I have to keep track of so much shit, during boss battles and stuff. Like, for example, when you fight the Scorpion, remember the Scorpion from the first game? So he'll occasionally bring up a shield, so you got to worry about taking out his shield, but at the same time, you also have to worry about his missiles, his attacks and shit, the way he's moving. So it was really like dynamic and shit. And then this other boss I fought, I forgot the fucking name of it. It was like a floating robot. It's like half a human torso, and then the bottom was like, like a floating platform or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. He's in the main game. That was really cool because you had to use like Barrett to shoot him because he was really far. But then when he comes close, you got Tifa fucking him up and stuff. And there was this other boss I played called Abzu. This motherfucker, man, he kept one-shotting me, my whole party. Like, he was in a sewer. I think he's in the main game, too, in the original one. He would jump up on the wall, and then he would just, like, spit this fucking shit at us and just wipe out the entire party. So my strategy, on the third time when I finally beat him, I was like, kill him fast. And that's what I had to do, So the boss battles are really cool, but I just really enjoy the combat. To me, it feels like a combination of Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15, both of which I love the combat in both of those. So this game is right up that alley. I don't really have too many complaints. I really fucking enjoyed it, and it was so cool seeing those old cinemas I remember back in the day with those brand new graphics. Looks gorgeous, man. Again, I was not on the hype train for this game before. I was like, yeah, I'll play whatever. I'm fucking on board, man. This is gonna be insane. This is a game. Okay, and by the way, this is something, just being real. This year, I haven't really played too many games that for pleasure, because I've been busy. This game, I'm going to play for pleasure. It's for work and play. I can't fucking wait.
So what did they say about the turnaround time regarding the episodes when they come out?
Oh, nothing. They're not telling you shit. They're not telling you nothing.
They're playing it out of sight, out of mind. They only mentioned it like a few times, but they're really not saying anything.
How long is this first episode?
We don't know. Oh, they said it's going to be 80 hours. They said each episode.
The first episode. Holy shit!
Yeah, they said each game is going to be an actual game. It's going to be like an actual length RPG, which is 80, 100 hours.
What's the pricing per episode?
Probably. Well, we don't know that. We don't know that. But let's be real.
It's got to be a full price, though, or close to it if it's 80 hours.
You know it's going to be $60. You already know. But
per episode, well.
No, by the way, I have a theory. I could be wrong. I probably am going to be wrong, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I think what they're going to do is, because one of the weird mysteries is like, yo, why the fuck aren't they saying episode 1? They're just saying Final Fantasy 7, right? That's all they're putting out there. So what I think might happen, it probably won't, because I think they're going to try to piecemeal you shit, sell you separate games. But what would be cool, I'm going to say that what would be cool, because and I'm thinking more about it, I don't think it's going to happen because it would just be too consumer friendly.
Yeah, you just started with it would be cool, which means it's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So basically release this game, right? And then subsequent episodes, you download them. That's it. You just download them, and they'll cost like $40 or something. That's what would be cool. But they're going to piecemeal the fuck out of you. You already know. They're
going to be like, oh, hey, look at this. We got the new
episode. And let's be real, Final Fantasy fans will happily pay that price. They're willing to pay $100, and let's do some math here. $60, it's $120, $180. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, there's 3 episodes. That's $180. It's going to be interesting. And the timing is weird because what's coming in November? The PlayStation 5,
Yeah.
So
and then we're talking about new consoles, PlayStation 5 and Xbox. So what are you going to do? Get everybody to buy the damn game again for the new consoles, or essentially do some sort of fucking boost mode, or what are we doing?
But I'm on board. But yeah, those questions, Adam, I hope they answer them. I hope they answer them, because they're not even saying episodes anymore. They're not.
Did they change? Is it still going to be episodes?
Oh, it is. No. It is because remember, this game ends when you leave Midgar. And they even said during an interview
with the airship, when the airship shows up.
No, that's later. Because basically what happened is, they confirmed that Red 13 will not be playable, and the reason for that is like, okay, this guy comes up at the end of the game, of the demo, of the game, not the demo, of the end of this episode. So it wouldn't make any sense for us to make him playable. We'll make him playable in the next one. That's the first time I heard him say episodes in a long time.
Yeah. The thing about it is, again, they're playing mum with it because of what happened the last time when they started talking about episodes.
Yeah,
everybody went. They're like, and it's going to be multiple episodes, and everyone went, boo!
You know why? You know why they said that, right? Not only because the game's broken up, because what do people think when they think episodic games? They think 4-hour game.
Now, what if? Do you think they would do this where it's just one per year? Like this
that would be nice.
That's why they're not mentioning. So it's like, it's a full 80 hours. Come on now, that's for this year. Next year you'll get.
That would be cool. That would actually be cool. By the way.
Okay, so where's all this extra game?
Happened? Oh, but Brett, they're adding more shit. They said it already. They're adding way more story stuff.
Yeah, they're at, like, in other words, because if you remember Final Fantasy 7 in the Midgar section, you actually don't run into Sephiroth at all. They already start adding these new little, like, weird little things that Cloud keeps on seeing throughout this.
Yeah, he keeps hallucinating. I do want to add this though, because remember in the first game, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, it's been a while. After you blow up the Shinra reactor, you escape and shit, and then you go back to your base. That's how it happened, right?
No, after you blow up the Shinra Shinra thing,
the Mako reactor, I should say, yeah. Or the Mako.
You mean in the demo thing? Right?
Yeah. No. I'm talking about in the main game, in the original game, right? After you blow up the Mako reactor,
the first one,
and you get on the train and all that other stuff. Was there stuff between you leaving the Mako reactor and you hopping on the train?
Well, no, like, because what it does is, like, he blows up the Mako reactor, and then he's in the he meets up with Eris in the thing, and then he just kind of runs off and then jumps onto the train.
Yeah,
they look like they added stuff where he's fighting in the streets.
Well, yeah, the reason, they did that, and that's the reason I'm asking, just to make sure I'm clear. Basically, they have this entire section after you leave the Mako reactor where you're going through the streets and everything's fucked up. And Barry and him, the Avalanche group, they're like, yo, we fucking caused this shit. Like they realize that even though they're trying to save the planet and all that, there's going to be some casualties. And Barrett says, like, there's going to be casualties. You just have to deal with it. So it's kind of a surreal moment where I'm going through the streets. There are fucking people dying and crying and all this shit. Destruction everywhere, fires. And I'm like, ooh. That was me.
Yeah, well,
I caused that shit. So they're adding little things like that.
Because they kind of also the thing is that if you notice in the cinematic, the Shinra guys blow up the base even more than what it was.
They do, yeah, they do, yeah.
Like they cause all the robots to start shooting everything. So it's like I think they're adding a little extra story shit where it's like they're fucking with things too. Like in other words, they're making it worse. They're making the situation worse.
Yeah, to make Avalanche look worse, because in this one I played, there's this one part where basically you're going to another Mako reactor. I'm going to call it Mako. I don't give a fuck. So they go into another Mako reactor, and during it, you're talking about the fact that there's cameras on you broadcasting this shit to the population, and they're going, hey, look at these terrorists, they're going to blow up another Mako reactor, you're going to fuck up your whole neighborhood, so they're adding little things like that, to expand the story.
Yeah, so my guess is like, after all that stuff happens, Cloud fights in the street, then he jumps over the edge, then they get off at different stops, and then they end up at the bar.
Yeah. Also, I talked about this in my previous. So basically, the second boss, and again, it's been a long time since I played the first game. So if you guys could remind me, please, for the second boss, as I kept going further down to the Mako reactor, I was able to take away memory chips of him. Like I could disable his bombs, I could disable his AI, I could disable all this other shit. So it was kind of cool. Was that in the original?
It wasn't like it was like you could attack just like a
salute, Adam. Salute.
Thank you.
You can attack certain parts of the bosses, and you can kind of disable them. So, like, you remember that first boss that you fight, where you're kind of disabling his legs and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like this was basically you're going from room to room, computer rooms, basically, right? Fighting off little guys or whatever. But in those rooms, you could actually access computers and make the boss weaker. So by the time I got to the boss, I disabled a bunch of his shit, So that was really cool. So they added that, Yeah,
they didn't have they had like computers and stuff in that one, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah, so basically, and what was cool is because I disabled all his bombs, right? And then at the end of it, I had to do a little puzzle and shit. I went into this room where all the shit I took away from him was dumped. So I was throwing his own bombs at him during the actual boss fight. Like, yeah, this is dope, man. So yeah, I'm fully on board with this shit. Like,
they also added little extra things where, like, they kept some of the decisions that you could make, like, like how long you want to make the bomb explode,
Yeah.
Like
Even though you could do that shit in 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes,
Oh yeah, you could do it less than 20 minutes, but I gave it 30. Better safe than sorry. But it does that silly thing though, like, as soon as you finish it, it like instantly goes to 1. I'm like, yo, man, you had 30 minutes on that shit.
Yeah. No, I set that shit to 20, man. But yeah, I'm on board, man. So that's April 10th, I believe, and the game's gone gold. No more delays. That's it.
Well, you just got to make sure you spray it. That shit or something, because then they just find out that shit can stick on a
That's what Adam told us.
That's a report that it can stick on surfaces. They just don't know how long it can survive before. But I mean, this is the case whenever you get any product. It always says, especially if it's clothes stuff, wash it, or if it's any kind of plastic. A lot of people, I know, Tony, you say you like that new product smell.
So does bread,
But bread, remember what that is? That's factory smell. That's heavy, whether it's the chemicals to put together the plastic or the leather, the artificial leather. You really shouldn't, or the factory dust, you shouldn't be breathing all that shit in. So it's smart just to sanitize it, clean it. You don't know how long it's been in that package.
Adam, I'm gonna die how I lived.
Sniffing products, man.
Man found dead with a console on his face.
But he's smiling. He died happy, man. He died happy.
Shit, that's the last thing we need. Imagine that shit.
Yeah.
Fucking people getting sick, getting rashes on their hands or something because of fucking controllers.
Somebody was saying, it's like, could you imagine if the PlayStation 5 was responsible for spreading more coronavirus?
Oh, shit.
Shit. But again, I think, it'll probably die down when the summer comes. But anyway, we're done. But before we do that, just a couple of things. Actually, we're going to start it now. I purposely delayed it because actually, let's just be real. I kept forgetting about the fucking contest and shit. But for the last weeks, I purposely delayed it. You know why? Because next week, episode 275, people, that's the anniversary episode. So starting tomorrow, we're gonna start the contest. Manny and I are gonna get together. We're gonna do a video for you guys detailing everything. But I'm gonna give away a keyboard from Logitech, dope ass fucking keyboard, and I'm probably gonna throw in a controller or two. 8-bit do shit. You know, the good stuff. We're gonna do a video for you guys so you can see all the details. And this is a contest that's open for everybody. SoundCloud listeners, iTunes, you know, YouTube, Twitch, all that shit. And we're probably going to do contests for both episodes. Both episodes are going to hit to episode 275 at, you know, the same week, next week. So watch out for that. And the 275 will throw on your questions, which is on Sunday, will be an AMA special, which means, and you could, not for this up. You know what? I'm not going to say nothing because people are going to start doing it for this week, but that's going to be an AMA special. We'll tell you all about that. And that's pretty much that for us, man. It is good to have the entire crew back, man. We are back, people. Manny, do you have any announcements before we leave? Because, by the way, because I always realize, like, you know, we're doing an outro, you always do like a little thing. I'm like, that kind of fucks up the flow. So I'm gonna ask you, like, would you have anything going on? Because I obviously want you to plug your stuff, you know.
Actually, not right now. But I mean, you know, we got a couple of things in the thing. I mean, you guys have seen, you know, me and Kari did a cover of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Power Rangers, and we got a new cover with that coming. And yeah. Man, that's about it. Nothing, no big announcements right now. But you know, we'll see.
Something will happen, man. I just got to get used to. I get into habit to ask you because you know you're gonna have shit. You always got some stuff.
Yeah, there's gonna be some shit. So also, you know, we still have some Death Stranding posters. If you
yeah, man, we're probably gonna toss those in too, man.
We toss those in there too. I got a few more left. So yeah.
Crazy stuff, man. So yeah, people, that's going to do it for us. So thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight joined by Emilio Lopez.
20 years, man. 20 years.
Yes. Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Adam Vale.
Yo, tomorrow night, Friday night WrestleCast for Elimination Chamber. Shit. Yeah, we're bringing that, and hopefully it starts of our new time on Spotify.
Nice.
So we'll see how that goes.
Brett Murdoch.
Adios, Bataloa.
And Brian Manjoma.
It's been real, people. 20 years, man. It feels so.
Time flies.
Long ago,
Time flies, man.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for Carlos, who's still muted right now, he's probably on a call right now. We will see you on Sunday, people. Later.
Later, guys.
Later.
Deuces. And no competition.
Damn right.